go, it's old, we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Yo, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Scotty Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Coach and Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour. Big O, a.k.a. Orlando yeah.
Oh, we are ready to rock and roll. Yes, sir. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Hope you all are doing well. I've been up for hours. I've been up for a while, so it's all good. I just got back actually from I was over at Inter Miami Stadium, and God, that place is so beautiful. It's what they've done to that stadium is, wow. The dump it was to the palace it is now is absolutely amazing. So it was fun. Had a meeting down at Inter today as we get ready to put together a little broadcast crew on the radio side, and we're going to have some fun doing that and talking a little soccer. So all of you that have that love soccer, you're going to have a home now permanently that's coming. So it's going to be really fun. I love this project that we're a part of and getting it going. So I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to having some fun. Hope you guys had a safe weekend. Hope you had a good weekend. I was very proud as an American because we kind of were able to weed out the idiots. And now you see all the protests. They're pretty much peaceful protests now, right? I mean, I think, if I remember correctly, they're having more issues now overseas in their protests than they are here now. And I think it's good. It's good. It's kind of been a process, and it's good because you don't want that stuff taking away from the message. And it's been really, really cool. So I congratulate all the people that have been a part of all the protesting. Listen, I would go myself, actually. If I didn't have 5 stents in my heart, I know this idiot here would go also if he didn't have asthma either. But, some of us can't. I mean, today we were meeting in a room, and, there's several of us, and it was like we were trying to keep our distance. Everybody had a mask on. Not one person was missing a mask today in our meeting.
So you didn't do like the White House staff that put the chairs together for aesthetic look.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. We actually were very responsible in our meeting today. So I hope all of you out there continue to fight the good fight, but let's fight it the right way. That's one of the things I talked about yesterday on the show, that key is to fight it the right way, so that way you get the results. And I think people will appreciate it a lot more. I love the fact of the diversity that we have going on while we're doing all of this. I think that's what's ultimately going to make the difference. You know what I mean? And so it's very important that all of us get together for all of these causes. Right now it's Black Lives Matter. Down the line it'll be something else. We all have got to come together and fight for what's right. You know what I mean? And that's pretty cool to watch what's been going on. Did you see already they've got a prop bet out in Vegas? MyBookie.com, which is one of the bigger online gambling services. They've got now, will Drew Brees take a knee or not? So if yes, he'll take a knee is plus 300. No, he won't take a knee will be minus 700. Okay? I think he's guaranteed to kneel down now. Guaranteed.
I would almost say across the board. Coaches, I mean.
No, but I'm talking about Drew Brees specifically with what he was involved in.
Correct.
Knowing Drew Brees, he will be the guy. See, Vic Fangio can apologize all he wants. Jake Fromm, I'm not believing a damn thing Jake Fromm says. Okay? Drew Brees didn't say any kind of racial issue, or he didn't spew out any N-word or anything like that. I think most of us feel that when you look at Drew Brees, you look at it and you say, that's a good human being, right? And Drew is the kind of guy, I mean, man, he apologized twice. His wife came out. He went after the president after the president said, oh, Drew doesn't have to apologize. And he's like, no, dude, you're wrong. And he came out, and his wife, I mean, did you read his wife's apology? I mean, that was moving, dude, okay? If those of you have not seen it, her apology is as impressive as it gets because Brittany Breeze, like, let it all out there. She goes, I write this with tears in my eyes, and I hope you will all hear our hearts. I have read these quotes in scriptures 1,000 times, and every time I read it and its words sink into my heart, I think, yes, this is what it's all about. Only until the last few days, until we experienced the death threats, we experienced the hate, did I realize that these words were speaking directly to us. How could anyone who knows us or has interactions with us think that Drew and I have a racist bone in our body? But that's the whole point. Somehow, as a white America, we can feel good about not being racist, feel good about loving one another as God loves us. We can feel good about educating our children about the horrors of slavery and history. We can read books to our children about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Hank Aaron, Barack Obama, Rosa Parks, and I feel like we're doing our part to raise our children to love, be unbiased, with no prejudice, to teach them all about the African Americans that have fought for and risked their lives against racial injustice. Somehow, as white Americans, we feel like that checks the box of doing the right thing. Not until this week. Did Drew and I realize that this is the problem? To say I don't agree with disrespecting the flag, I now understand, was also saying I don't understand what the problem really is. And I don't understand what you're fighting for. And I'm not willing to hear you because of our preconceived notions of what the flag means to us. That's the problem. We are not listening. White America is not hearing. We're not actively looking for racial prejudice. We have heard stories from men and women who we have known and loved for years about the racism that occurred in their lives, stories that were never shared or talked about because somehow they were considered normal. To all of our friends and anyone we hurt, we will do better. We want to do better. We want to hear from you. We will fight for you because thinking we are not part of the problem is checking the box. It means we are not doing enough. It's our job to educate ourselves. We are sorry. I have more respect for the Brees couple now than ever, actually. And I bet you anything he will kneel. Guaranteed, because he will follow words with actions. Because that's Drew Brees. That's always been Drew Brees.
I was just going to say, he's earned enough good guy cred that he's got it in the bank, okay?
Yes. I don't trust Jake Fromm as far as I can throw his ass. And he's the quarterback, not me, okay? But, you're dropping N-words and all that stuff, and this guy was like, well, only elite rich white people should be able to afford guns. That's what he said last year. See, I tell you guys this all the time. Sorry doesn't fix everything. Sorry can fix what Drew Brees did. Because he didn't mean anything bad by it. He just had a wrong point of view on it and didn't have the big picture, which is what Brittany has been talking about. We didn't see the big picture. We had our narrow point of view because that's what's going on here. People have a narrow point of view and they only use that, and then they don't want to exercise anything else. They think it only has one definition, and it doesn't.
Indictment on Fromm. You knew that this was out there. It's been there for a year.
Oh,
you don't do nothing until it hits you in the face, and then you have to address it. It's after the fact, okay?
Do you want to know where I can't stand this issue about racism? You want to know what's the worst thing about all of this right now that I can't stand that people are saying right now? There's two things going on. One, people throw out, well, racist people should be careful with their words. See, that's the problem there. When you're not racist, you don't have to be careful with your words. I don't have a racist bone in my body. I don't care how outraged I get. None of that's ever going to come out because that's not who I am. I'm going to judge you by what you are, not how you treat people. That's how I'm going to judge you, not by what religion you are or what sex or sexual orientation or color or nationality or size. I don't give a rat's ass about that. That's one of those things that I hate. Oh, well, racist people need to be careful. Yeah, well, when you're racist,
then that's just a cover-up.
Right, that's all it is. And that's the part that I keep saying, keep the cameras rolling. Do you see how beautiful it's been the last couple of weeks here? We're catching all these people in their acts. Okay? They're killing people, they're abusing people, they're verbally abusing people. They're trying to intimidate people. It doesn't matter what it is. The guy at the gym, the woman at the park, the officer killing George Floyd, you name it. The officer that's pushing the girl down that's on her knees, the officer that's slamming the girl into the curb, the two Buffalo officers that pushed a 75-year-old man to the ground and made him go critical condition in the hospital, bleeding from the head. All these things are being captured on video. It's a beautiful thing, man. I love it. I freaking love it. It's ugly, but I love it because we're exposing these people for what they are. And then these are lessons, right? Okay, because that's what's going on. We are now teaching, finally, maybe cops now, the dirty ones, will get the message that you better straighten out your stuff or get the hell out. And now the Minnesota Police Department is they're gonna create their own police department now. They're gonna break up this one, and these are the things that have to happen. Drastic measures must be taken because people are being abused and getting killed. And finally, as Brittany says, white America is waking up. Asian America, Hispanic America, every walk of life is walking next to their black brothers and sisters. And instead of leaving them alone for the fight, we're there with them. And that's important. And when women are fighting for their rights, we need to be there. And when the LGBT community is fighting for their fight, we need to be there. Because that's what Americans do. That's what you're watching out there right now. That's America. That's the way it's supposed to be. All the beautiful faces from all the different countries and nationalities and religions and sexual orientations. It is beautiful. Okay? And I love that we're watching athletes also, and entertainers and actors and people of power and influence involved in all of these protests. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty freaking amazing, man. It's awesome.
I have to say, the situation in Buffalo, those two guys being suspended, and then all 57 resigning from that unit. You know what? You're still on the police force.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would fire all of them.
And yeah, exactly. If you're going to back up those two morons,
and that's the problem with the cops. That's the problem with
those
the cops.
other 55 guys. There is an issue.
Them all.
Yep.
Fire them all. Fire them all. All 57 idiots. If they don't see what's wrong with pushing a 75-year-old man to the ground and sending him to the hospital, and then just walking casually past him like nothing. I mean, I was disgusted with that video.
Did you hear the excuse? They said that what it is, the people on the front line have to continue to address the front line. So they need the people in the back of the. But you saw there's nobody there.
None of that means.
Yes.
Bill, decency is a police officer grabs the man and says, "Sir, can we step aside so you don't get trampled here? We got a lot of officers coming through. How can I help you, sir? What can I do for you?" You listen to the old man for 30 seconds or 60 seconds. The rest of the guys are going ahead of you. You say, "Okay, sir, we will try to address it. Thank you. We need to address this. I appreciate you." And you walk away. That's it. Nobody gets hurt. You don't look like an animal, because basically when you're pushing that girl down, you look like an animal. When you're throwing the other girl into the curb and her face gets busted up by the curb, you're an animal. When you're throwing a 75-year-old man to the ground, you're an animal. And when you're killing George Floyd, you're an effing murderer.
When you're attacking media and saying they fell into you, they tripped.
How about
right?
the protester that the cop grabs the mask, lowers the mask, and then pepper sprays him? Are you serious, dude? That guy got suspended also. That's the problem with our cops. They have this green light that they think they can do whatever because the guy behind them or the woman behind them is going to cover their ass.
Blue backing blue.
Right. And those 57 idiots step down to protect those two, fire all of them. Because if you don't have common decency, that you don't know that a knee in the neck for a man for 8 minutes kills them, you can't understand that pushing a 75-year-old man to the ground. And the poor man's tall, too, on top of all of that. So you know his balance is even worse.
Yeah, tree falling in.
Hey, man, I'm 53. I don't have the balance when I was 33. Forget 23 and 13. Okay? I mean, we're going to fall a lot easier as we get older. At 75 like that, come on, man. Guy slams his head to the concrete. It's bleeding, and they're just casually walking by like it's nothing. Because it's gotten to a point for the police that to hurt someone, it doesn't affect them. They don't care that that girl got smashed into the curb and she went to the hospital. The poor Hannes guy doesn't care that he threw the girl down to the ground and she wasn't doing anything. She was on her knees with her hands up in the air, affecting nothing. No, look, like I said yesterday on the show, if any of us witness anyone with a machete, a gun, a knife coming at an officer, and the officer has to kick his ass or even kill him, nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to say anything. I'm not going to complain. Officer, your life is on the line. I get it. But George Floyd was not a threat in any way, shape, or form at any point.
I don't think the guy could have been more passive if he tried.
I know. The girl on her knees, not there to affect you at all. The protester, turn off your mic, bro. The protester that gets in your way and you push to the curb, that wasn't a threat. It's a little girl. It's a girl. She's 17, 18, 19, and you're just slamming her right into the curb. These are things that they're used to getting away with. This is the abusive nature of the police. And this is what's getting exposed. Keep the cameras rolling the entire time. Okay?
The thing that's also the problem is then there's a lie.
Right.
And then they compound it like what the Buffalo people were saying. Their excuse was, well, the front people have to continue to move up. It's the back people that can take care of the guy. And it's like, they're not addressed. There is no line there to address. It's just the old man by himself. Come on,
That's
man.
all it is. That's all it is.
Excuses after a lie.
Yeah.
Compounded.
That's all it is. It's disgusting. That's all. It's absolutely disgusting. And they will pay the price now. That's all. And that's the best part about all of this, that we're going to get people that are finally now going to pay the price for their behavior for a long, long time. And it's been disgusting behavior from some police officers over the years. Criminal behavior has been going on for many years. It is time to stop that criminal behavior, and we keep catching it on camera all the time.
18,000 police departments, supposedly, in the country.
Yep.
You know what? The first thing I would do, go through files, complaints, issues, over excessive force. Any of those people, start there, right? Because there's an established pattern. Start the weeding there.
Yep. A little roll call. Flipper 13 is in the house. DJ Gallagher. Tommy Italian 305 for life. King Short. Cookie Vice. Julius 305. Let's see who else. Flipper 13. Plaster 83. That's good for everything except in bed. I don't know what the hell that is. Okay. George Albanese. Let's go. He wants some likes. Share it, baby. Share the links with folks out there. Dwayne the Dynasty begins now. Says Colin Kaepernick was correct. Well, of course he was correct. The only thing was that he really didn't want to be a quarterback. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that was phony about him. DJ Gallagher, this is now my only place for news, sports, and getting to know all of the great fans in Miami. There you go. I like it. Alexa V is in the house. Gus 1383. Myron Sanchez. Myron, thank you for sending me that stuff on DM, man. Very nice of you. Appreciate you. Let's see. What else do we have here? Ian from Brooklyn. Who else? Super Boom Shack. Myron says Drew Brees is nothing but a fraud. He had no choice to change his mind because his football career and now his new gig. But I give him total respect for telling Trump Black Lives Matter. He's not a racist. So then, but if he's not a racist, then he's not a fraud, Myron. Right? You can't call him a fraud if you say he's not racist. Couldn't he just have a terrible point of view? Because that's kind of what they're admitting. I mean, him and Brittany Breeze have gone overboard on their opinions. I mean, on their apologies. I mean, you could tell that it bothered Breeze, that he hurt people, and it bothered Brittany. I disagree with him, Myron. I don't think Drew Brees, I don't think there's a 1 inch of that guy that's fraudulent. I think that guy's as real as it gets, man. Remember, Myron, we're all human beings. We're all going to say something to somebody we love that we didn't mean, we didn't really look into what we were saying, didn't understand how much it was going to hurt somebody, and then you realize it after. It doesn't make you a terrible person. It makes you human, man, that you make mistakes.
Pretty much just him looking at from his angle and not opening up and going out on the fringe and just sticking to the flag. You got to stand, that.
And they both never made any excuses for it, man. They took all responsibility for it. And, when you go back at the president, too, that takes a lot of balls, man. Takes a lot of balls. Matthew Walker's in the house. Who else? Carl Barasali, I think it is. Where are my Canes at? Well, at 1:30, by the way, speaking of Canes, Andrew Ivins is going to join us because it seems like the Canes are getting transfers every other day. And they got
portal activity, man, is awesome, huh?
They got a big one now, supposedly, on the offensive line. A guy that's going to be available right away, so we'll get into that. Diane Mayer says Black Lives Matter. Say it every day, all day, people. Burn it into your brains until you finally get it and get burned into your hearts. Amen. John Rouse is in the house. Still breaking the law by blocking traffic. That's not peaceful. Stay on the sidewalks or design walking areas too. Too much confrontation can happen when on the road. I know what you're talking about, the I-95 stuff. I don't like it either. I don't like the fact that they're constantly going now to I-95, and they've either got to block them or they block 95. That part, I'm with you, because now you're bothering people that may be on the way to work. They might be on an emergency. I have a problem with that part. But they've still been peaceful, okay? So we got to give them credit when they've been peaceful.
A sad situation, man. If somebody like my asthma or somebody like you, and they're trying to get to the hospital for something that's happened because
you're derailing them.
Yes, yes.
And that extra 30 seconds, 2 minutes, so you delay them 5 minutes, could be their lives. It could be an emergency. So I'm with you, John, on that one. I will definitely go there. At least the violence is pretty much gone, and that's pretty cool that the idiots are finally been weeded out. They're probably all in jail now. That's probably what it is. You know what I mean? Rosendo says, when agitators and looters destroy businesses, that's not protest. That's causing trouble and disrespect. You're making them all one. The protesters aren't the looters. The protesters aren't the rioters. Those are just criminals. That's where it's not fair, Rosendo. Okay? Look at all the hundreds of thousands of people now that are protesting, and they're not looting, and they're not fighting, and they're not tearing things down anymore. Those people have been weeded out already. So it's been pretty peaceful in this country the last couple of days with all the protests. So in other words, let me explain something to all of you out there that are now starting to complain. Don't start reaching for shit. Okay? I guess I got to cuss in order to get to you guys. Last couple of days, there's really rarely any kind of violence whatsoever in this country. So get off the high horse already. Those people have been weeded out. They've been out. The real protesters are out now. Okay? I find it, I got to tell you, when you're so quick to lump them all together, then that tells me que te estás cerrando, that you're not keeping yourself open to what's going on, and you're quickly closing and not understanding, and you're lumping everybody together, and that's not fair. And that's definitely not fair, because the protesters outnumber the idiots thousands to one. So if you want to keep blaming the few for the thousands, that's just not fair, man. It's not right. I'm just telling you. Any of you out there lumping them all together, you are dead wrong. Okay? Dead wrong and unfair. Let's see. Who else do we have here in the house? Sid is in the house. Kaepernick may be Tom Brady's backup. I doubt it. But, it's two different quarterbacks. Kaepernick has to go to Baltimore. He has to go to Seattle. He has to go to Arizona. He has to go to Chicago. He has to go to certain areas in certain offenses. He cannot be in Tom Brady's offense. He can't run Tom Brady's offense. It's not what he does. Got to understand the talents of certain guys. Alex Diaz says, me and my buddy have gone back and forth. He keeps saying that if you kneel for the national anthem, then you're a dumbass. Well, then whatever, bro. I mean, all I would tell you, Alex, is don't bother talking to him anymore about it. That's all. Talk to your buddy about everything else except that. That's it. When he brings up the anthem, say, hey, dude, we disagree. Just move on. Don't worry about it. I don't really care. That's all. You
can agree to disagree.
That's all.
That shuts it down right there.
That's it. You're not going to – the people are dead set on that. You're not going to change them, bro. Just move on. Don't waste your time. Mental masturbation, baby. Let's see. What else do we have here? Drubo says, Miami Hurricanes warning. The University of Miami football team coaches have agreed to take pay cuts ranging from 3 to 10% because of COVID-19. Whatever, bro. That does nothing for me. I don't really care about any of that. I worry more about you guys out there that don't have jobs and you're looking for one. And I don't worry about a coach making $500,000. So now he's going to make $450. Or $400 or $350. Whatever, bro.
Along those lines, honestly disturbing. Obviously, going through Doral, there's always major traffic. And, yeah, I get it, school stopped. But, honestly, this morning not enough businesses open, man. Not enough traffic.
No, of course not. We're not there yet.
Yeah, bro.
You think that what...
This was supposed to be one of the first days, though, that, there's more.
You think what the guy said is at the top, that we're going to bounce back like nothing?
We are lacking, brother.
Of course. Dude, people have lost billions and trillions in the last couple of months. They don't have the revenue. How do you rehire people if you don't have revenue? How do you rehire people if you don't have traffic? How do restaurants get back to normal when you don't go to restaurants?
Yeah. 25% of the people that come in the door are going to sit down. How many waitresses do you need? You don't need 10. You only need 2 now.
Right. And so you're not bringing back all those.
How many cooks do you need?
Less. That's what didn't I say this a couple of weeks ago, that lots of people are not going to get their jobs back? Lots of people.
Your prep cook doesn't need to be your prep cook. Your dishwashing guy could do the little bit of prep work.
You saw
those little cuts.
You saw what the Athletic did locally? You didn't. You're not keeping up.
Oh, no. What did they do?
They released Andre Fernandez. They released Chris Perkins, and they released George Richards. They only have one reporter left. Manny.
You're talking major.
It tells you how much
players,
they
man.
released 45 riders across the country, The Athletic.
Oh man.
And we lost 3 of them.
High grade quality people.
And we
man.
exactly. We just lost 3 of them. And, all 3 will bounce back. They're all 3 great human beings. We have them on the show all the time. They will bounce back. It's a brutal business, man. It's a brutal life right now. Anybody that's working anything, whatever job you have right now, be grateful, man. Be grateful. This whole thing about, we're going to bounce back and everybody's going to get their jobs back. No, man, that's not going to happen that easy. Because now everybody lost so much money, it's hard to get it back. They lost all the business, it's hard to get it back. And then to restart your business, you have to spend more money now because you have to go for COVID stuff. The cleaning, you have to maintain all this other stuff that you have to do that you didn't have to do before, which again adds to more costs. I mean, the restaurant business is, I told you guys, I don't know, yesterday or on Friday, I'm not going to a restaurant at all. If I go, it's to pick up and I leave. I'm not sitting in a restaurant. I'm not sitting at a concert. I'm not going to a game and packing in a stadium. I'm not doing any of that for a long, long time. And so then lots of people are like me, that they refuse to go, don't want to take the chance, none of that. I was uncomfortable today in our meeting. I had not been in a room with that many people.
How many people were in the meeting?
8.
What size of a room would you say?
20 feet.
Okay, square.
Yeah.
So you ain't got the 6 foot.
No.
With 8 people, that's 48 feet.
Yeah.
You only got 20 feet to do it.
Right. Everybody had a mask. Okay, so nobody shook hands and all. I mean, we did what we had to do.
Elbow
you know
bumps.
What I'm saying?
Elbow bumps.
But it's just one of those things that this is not going to be as easy as people make it out to be, bro. This is going to be a tough climb for all of us. Every one of us is going to suffer. I mean, I'm sorry. Every one of us is already suffering. Okay? And lots of people are hurting in a big time way. Anybody is still earning money right now in any way, you need to kiss the ground that you walk on because you are blessed. Whatever money you're making, man. Doesn't matter. Because I don't know when people are going to get back to work. It is tough. Myron Sanchez coming in on the Super Chat. Myron says, when Brees shows support with his teammates when football season starts by kneeling for police brutality, not the flag, he will be the man of his words. I think he will, bro. I really do, Myron. I think he's going to kneel in a big-time way. I think he's going to lead it. Okay? I think he's going to lead the whole process of it because that's what he is, So I'm telling you, I don't fraud and Brees, I can't do it, man. I need a fraud is Braun. A fraud is Armstrong. A fraud is O.J. Simpson. Frauds are frauds. You know what I'm saying? That's stuff that stands out. Drew Brees and the word fraud, Myron, I can't, man. I can't after what that guy has done for that city, during Katrina and everything else. That guy's awesome, man. I got a lot of admiration for Drew Brees as a human being, and I think he is about humans first. And so that's where I have more faith in Brees than you do. I really do. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in. And you can reach out to us there on Twitter at Big O Show, on email, orlando@bigoradioshow.com. We got a loaded show for you today. John Krasinski is going to join us, senior NBA writer for The Athletic. He covers the T-Wolves and the NBA. Well, as you know, T-Wolves, Minnesota, they've been in the middle of all of this, and John's been covering all of this stuff and covers the NBA, so we'll talk to John about all of this at 1. Bob Nightingale, friend of the program. I've had Bob on my show for many, many years, many, many times. national MLB writer, highly respected. Everybody knows Bob Nightingale, one of the best USA Today baseball writers. He's going to join us at 1 o'clock, and we'll talk about baseball. Will it come back? What the hell is going on with baseball? And please, 50 games? Come on, man. From 114 and 50, they're probably going to meet in between, but 75, 80, are we going to get that? I don't know. I don't know what's going to end up happening. Andrew Ivins from 247 Sports. He covers the Canes on a daily basis. We got the breaking news constantly now with the Canes. It seems like there's a guy transferring in every couple days. So we'll ask, because the hype machine is getting hyped up in a big-time way. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Remember that Toyota of Hollywood is a proud sponsor of our program. We love Steve Ostrov, all the great people out there, Herbie Lopez, Joel Rubio, Gary Thompson, Rick, Eddie, Asterisk Smith. So many great people out there ready to help you out. Over 400,000 square feet, state-of-the-art. And let me tell you, they've got over 1,500 cars and trucks, so you're going to get one great selection out there. Tell them that Big O sent you. Please mention our name if you go to Toyota of Hollywood, man. And of course, when you go there, you will drive or lease a beautiful vehicle. Remember, they've got 90 days, no payments, to make it nice and easy for you during this tough transition. So get on down to 1841 North State Road 7. It is Toyota of Hollywood.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with zero down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we back. And we come back with, of course, a little super chat. Love it. Thank you, Alex Diaz, with the super chat. You, sir, are strong Are you worried about the shortened offseason? No, Alex, because everybody's under the same rules, man. I never worry about those kind of things. Oh, it's a shortened season. Who's got it better? Oh, it's a shortened offseason. Oh, it's an extended. Oh, they've got back-to-back-to-backs now this time. They got to play 3. Who's got the advantage? Man, everybody's playing under the same rules. Everybody has the same shortened offseason. If anything, Alex, I've mentioned this before in the past. Are you ready for this? I believe the Dolphins have an advantage going into this season. Yeah. I think they have an advantage over a lot of teams. Not all of them, but most of them. Do you know why? Okay, who was the team that tore their team down last year? The Dolphins. Who was the team that had to implement all kinds of new players, new schemes, new systems, everything? The Dolphins. Who's the team that changed half their offensive line right on the week the season started? The Dolphins. Who's the quarterback that said he was introducing himself to his teammates the day of the game? The Dolphins. And who's the team that week in and week out signed a bunch of guys and cut a bunch of guys? The Dolphins. Who's the team that signed a bunch of guys on one week and played them the same week? The Dolphins. Who's the only team that had that kind of transition all year long, yet somehow or another found a way to get better as the season went on? The Dolphins. So if there's anybody that is perfectly suited for a crazy-ass offseason, it's the Dolphins. Okay? I don't know how much more I can put it, but that dude showed me last year. He pulled stuff off that I have never seen in my life.
Practice squad rookies starting after a week on your roster.
And then disappearing after that. Some of them.
We're talking secondary. This isn't like special. These are guys playing 70, 80 plays a game.
And it wasn't some vanilla defense that they were running. They would change things up left and right. And you're like, what the hell is this? We would see formations and all that. So he was willing to take chances. And he was willing to push the envelope and everything. I don't think I'm not going to say they're the best suited for this. I'm just going to tell you that they're not at a disadvantage put it this way. Brian Flores is 1,000 times better suited to handle this season and off season than Adam Gase any day of the week and twice on Sundays. Okay? So, and I could find more coaches like that I know this guy is better prepared than those guys. What he did last year, forget it. It's nothing. He has more continuity this year than he did last year. He knows the team now that he didn't know last year. He has an influx of more young talent than he did last year. And he's got a year of experience under his belt, which he didn't have last year. Alex, Dolphins are perfectly fine for all of this. They're going to do as good as they can do in this situation better than most.
The only way this would have been an issue is if certain states would have opened up before others and teams would have been allowed to get access to their and all the leagues said no. Everybody's going to start at the same time.
Leagues have
so
not
there
allowed
is
that.
no advantage.
Right.
Other than, you know what? How your group is getting in meetings, getting them information, but everybody's got the same technology, right?
And that virtual stuff, I don't really think you make much progress.
No?
No, I don't. I think you got to physically practice it. I think you physically got to put it on film.
See it.
I think you physically got to break it down and show them and then go back out onto the field in a walkthrough and show them exactly what angle you took that was wrong, what decision you made was wrong. This is the right one. This is the right blocking scheme. This is the right route, whatever, all those kind of things.
So you need to see linebackers dropping in coverage, 6'8" defensive ends getting in your face.
Yeah. This virtual crap is not doing anything for football, but all 32 are doing it. So nobody's getting ahead.
You do what you can. You do what if that's all you can do, you do what you can.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not worried about it. So, Alex, I think our Dolphins are perfectly suited for this whole thing, man. I really do. I have no concern about the Dolphins in this situation. Let's see. Drewbo says, okay, we got a good thing going. I think Tua starts game 8. That's how long Fitz usually takes to go downhill. Again, Drewbo, it all depends also on the offensive line, my man. If the offensive line, Young, is not playing well in week 8, I don't know if you put Tua back there yet. I think there has to be a combination of, you're right, that the team is not playing well and Fitz is not playing well, but the offensive line has to be playing well. You don't want to put a kid coming back from a hip injury behind a sieve. That don't make sense, okay? You know, if you got all kinds of holes in the dike, that's not going to help out, bro.
Let me just counter what he said, because, you think from week 9, man, we went 5-4.
Right.
So that falling apart after week 8, he actually ascended.
He's talking about, but I think he's taking the normal Fits.
Oh, yeah. Not even that. It's usually like by the 3rd or 4th week. He has that incredible.
Oh, actually, he did start crappy early. He did.
That's right, because Rosen. Yep.
He got benched. So he played crappy early. That's the thing, that you still have that Fitzpatrick memory. That,
I remember the year of Tampa.
What he's been.
Tampa. He had 15 touchdowns in the first 4
he was
games.
on a roll.
And he was in Chicago, I remember, and by halftime he had thrown 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
Jameis came in and threw another 2 or 3. Yeah, it was.
That's him. Adam Gase can't relate to his players, and now he has to use Zoom. Yep, the Jets have landed. LOL. Yeah, no doubt. Isas Bofil says, what's up, Big O? What's up, Isas? If I got it right. I'm not exactly sure if I said your name right, but thank you and welcome aboard, my friend. Let's see. Super Boom Check. Is that a Somewhere in Time t-shirt? No. It's just a regular Iron Maiden shirt. That's all. This is actually the classic. This is like one of the original shirts. Outside of the black with the red Iron Maiden, this is the other one. But it's kind of cool because you got all the images inside of it. So
that was the album post Peace of Mind, right? The Egyptian.
Yeah.
And that's what all that is.
That's why he thinks it's a Somewhere in Time one, because it has a lot of the Somewhere in Time in there. But it's really a throwback shirt with some of the modern stuff inside of it. Is what it is, but I love it. It's actually a pretty cool shirt.
I don't think I've ever seen a bad Iron Maiden shirt.
Right?
Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, you're right about it. That's a great point. It's pretty hard to screw up an Iron Maiden shirt. Isa says, I don't want Tua to start this year. He needs to sit. Rodgers sat, turned out great for him. What you guys have to look at, for you ladies and gentlemen out there on the Tua thing, you don't worry about when he starts or what point. Worry about when the situation is right to put him in. Okay? That's what it's all about. I think Tua, mentally and physically, will develop just fine. I'm not worried about all that. I think he can learn to play this game, the game speed, all of that. The kid's a stud. Okay? But you want to keep him healthy. Because we all know he can play. We all know he's a fantastic young man. We all know he can lead. We all know he's accurate. But we also know that he's injury prone. And that's not up for argument or discussion. I don't care about what Lee Steinberg says or Tua or his dad or doctors or the Dolphins. None of that matters to me. I see the reality is you have busted up both your ankles, you busted up a knee, busted up a hip, busted up your hand, and you've only played 2 years of football, dude, in college. Okay? And you're playing it behind an All-American line. So you are injury prone. So the key is when the environment is perfect for him, okay, then you put him in. Because if you can't put him in the situation from last year, that the offensive line was just allowing penetration all over the place. It looked like you had a bunch of Kardashians on the line with that amount of penetration. And then, on top of all of that, the running game's not working. Okay? Because I'm not exactly sure if there's been more penetration in the Kardashian household or the Dolphins' offensive line last year. I'm not exactly sure. But there's a lot of penetration going on there. You can't put Tua back there. So if the line is playing well, the running game's decent, then I put Tua back there. I'm not worried. I don't even mention the receivers and the tight ends and because that'll work out. I'm not worried about that. Those guys will do their jobs. The line and the running game need to be working for Tua. I can't put the kid back there and have him run for his life and then injure the hip again or get injured. I can't do that. So that, to me, it's not a matter of, week 2, week 1, week 8, week 7. No, it's when the environment around him is perfect.
You know what I want to? I was just thinking about this. I want him on the cusp just touching games because we're in the lead, and Fitz needs to stay our guy because we're fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, right.
How about that?
That's a beautiful problem to have. It really is. It's also beautiful when we get a super chat. Ray Grulon! Ray! Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you chiming in on the super chat. Of course, appreciate the Darth Vader. Which is always a beautiful thing.
Before I forget, because we're almost coming up.
And he sends us a sticker. It says thank you, by the way. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you. Go ahead.
Hallmark. Always this day, blah, it's for them to buy. It is Best Friends Day. So let me say, I don't give a what anybody else says about you or thinks about you. I love you.
Love you too, brother.
Okay, man?
Appreciate you as always, man. Always, big time. Thank you. Thank you all. And all my best friends out there, thank you all out there for taking care of us. Alan D says, Big O saw someone argue that if Tua was good, he would raise other players up, including the O-line. I think some fans think we are going to the Super Bowl if Tua plays. Alan, those are the same idiots. Those same idiots are the ones that I had to argue with when they told me, hey, in signing Ndamukong Suh, it's going to take our defense to the next level. And then I would sit there and go, no, it's not. Did you watch Detroit's defense? It was the next level. They had like 1 or 2 good seasons under him, and it's not just him. It's everybody else was playing well too. It's kind of what it is, you know. It's not just Suh. You know, Darius Slade deserves some, credit if you're playing well. You know what I'm saying? Other people were involved in that defense. And instantly they thought, Suh's going to change everything. He wasn't even a sack artist. How can he change everything? The guy on at D end can really make more of a difference than on D tackle. And Suh was never Aaron Donald or previously Warren Sapp. That those are 2 guys that play his position, but they're also sack artists. That's not what he is. And it's the same thing here. Tua comes in. Everybody elevates. No, dude, they're not going to block any better or run any better. That's either you know how to do it or you can't. How many quarterbacks have we ever seen in your life that they're running for their lives? Yeah, Russell Wilson runs for his life, but he makes plays. But that's not what you want. That's not the key. So, yeah, that's Alan. Those are the silly people that they don't really follow the game. They don't understand it. Tall Ken Chit says, run after penetration. Yeah, that's usually what they do with the Kardashians also. They penetrate and then they run away. King Short says, I think Fitz will have a Pro Bowl season. Wow. Nice. Let's see. What else do we have? Bromar says, it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway trying to penetrate a Kardashian. Carl Bassell says, it's always like Miami Hurricanes or Dolphins. It's been the same results to me. Hope this year is different. Well, Carl, it's about leadership, my brother. And the leadership for the Dolphins has improved. I'm a Manny Diaz guy, but last year he did not do well, but I give him credit. He has addressed everything, man. Now let's see if he can get the results. That's what's next for Manny. He's got to get the results.
I was just thinking of the offensive line, the correlation to the Kardashians. You could have good penetration with your offensive line actually pushing the line of scrimmage further back, but we had bad it all coming in.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately. That's right. And Tommy Italian, 305 for live. He puts, you guys don't want Trump, but there's a demented guy named Joe Biden who hides his ugliness. At least with Trump, you get the truth. Well, you don't really get the truth. Tommy, you know what I mean? Look, for me, it doesn't matter, bro. I'm brutally honest. We're screwed either way, bro. That's all. So if Trump wins, things aren't getting any better with that guy. And if Biden wins, things are going to be terrible also because Biden's a phony, bro. China will abuse his ass. They'll get back to everything. I don't agree with a lot of things that Trump says and maybe some of his points of views, but there are things that I do like that he does. And one is how he's handled China. I think he's been right on that. There's certain, but see, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, so I don't give a rat's ass about either side. So I'm different than most of you out there because most of you have to choose your Republican candidate, whoever it is, or your Democrat. And that's just not the way I roll anymore. I haven't been rolling like that for decades now. I can't do that anymore because they don't give us good candidates. And I see Democratic people are just like, oh, I can't wait to get Trump off so we can get Biden in there. What do you think? Think they're going to be great with Biden? I mean, give me a break. The guy's a joke. The worst part about our country is, this is the part some people don't understand on the Republican side and on the Democrat side. Neither one of us is giving us good candidates. Obama unemployment was through the roof. He tore up. He was terrible with the deficit, bro. He didn't do great for the black community. Trump's a disaster. He does some things financially that are good, but then there's a whole bunch of other things that are terrible. Biden's going to be used and abused, and he's soft. So it doesn't matter who. And they give you Hillary. Oh, God, are you kidding me? It's just be honest with yourselves, folks, whether you're Republican or Democrats. They're not giving us any good candidates. We're settling for what we think is the least worst candidate out of the two. That's really what we do every 4 years. I don't know how any Democrat or Republican sits there with pride like they've got this great candidate that knows how to represent everybody, knows how to run the government. I mean, the deficit pace that Trump is on now, it's shattering what Obama did. And Obama shattered what Bush did. It's just, I laugh at Democrats and Republicans. I really do. I laugh because somehow or another, and I don't know what it is about some of you out there that you're not willing to rip your own side. And somehow or another, you try to justify what's going on like it makes a lot of sense. So, Tommy Italian for life, my brother. We're screwed, man. It doesn't matter who we vote in there. None of these are great candidates. They're not really going to represent. There are a lot of them are, more interested in their own interests, And the guy we have now is more worried about the stock market than he is about, human beings overall, bro. Come on. Big O, what are your top 3 greatest rock bands of all time? Mine are the Beatles, Zeppelin, and Pink Floyd. Well, that's a great question, man. I mean, I can't argue with 2 of the 3, putting the Beatles and Zeppelin there as 2 of your 3 greatest bands. That's, so influential. And maybe that third one. Wow, that's a good one, man. Maybe I go Jimi Hendrix or Elvis Presley. Because, you put rock bands. So I can't put Elvis Presley. Okay? Yeah. I don't know. You got a third one that you would put in there? Huh? Bill? You got a third one you would put in there?
Look, I'm just having a problem with the fact that Iron Maiden and U2, okay?
Yeah, I know, but
then you look at a different genre, and it's like The Cure and the,
But I think he's thinking about influence, too. So that's
why you got to be the Beatles in there.
Right, no, the Beatles and Zeppelin, I have no problem.
One that could get sandwiched in there, the Rolling Stones?
Yeah, easy.
Because of tenured service, years.
I'd put the Stones in front of Floyd. Because Floyd's music is, nobody does that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Their sound is
right
there, and the creativeness and the diversity of instruments.
The greatness cannot be.
Sound effects is part of their music.
The greatness can never be discussed or argued or anything. We know what they are. I don't know if I'd put them as one of the 3 greatest bands of all time. I like
influences, dude.
I
Kraftwerk. We
actually,
talk about Kraftwerk all the time.
I kind of like your pick. I kind of like the Stones on this one. To go Beatles, Zeppelin, and Stones, because he's asking bands. Because, because I could put Hendrix there. Technically, it was Jimi Hendrix in the Experience.
Yes.
So, whatever. I don't know, but I'll go with Bill's pick there. I'll go with the Stones.
And that's more.
And
like I said, because of years.
I'm going 3 influential rock bands of all time. That's what I'm gonna.
You got to specify
caveat in there. Yeah. I got to do that.
Yeah, it's hard to argue those 3.
Drewbo says, Bill, I thought you were my best friend. You stink. Now, Drewbo, you will become his best friend once he gets the welding mask. Then, obviously he's got to, then fall in love with you all over again, So I think it's the welding mask that really will weld you guys together. You know what I'm saying?
I already have ideas for Darth Vader stickers. Obviously, we got Darth Vader up that welding mask.
Let's see. Finn Strong One says also Cal Van Noy was on that D. Yeah, man. Tommy, if you don't think Trump is out of his mind, you're a demented one. Troy Ortiz says, "Hey, man, you guys, you knock yourselves out in politics." Let's see what else. Finn 9113 with a Finn 9113's asking me, "Hey, don't mean to change it up, but I'm a Panthers fan also. How do you see the younger guys reacting after the layoff?" I'm at a point, Finn 9113, that I'm at a point where I don't have any confidence in these guys anymore. That's really my problem with all of this. I don't believe that Dale Talon is the answer anymore. And I have seen a soft Panther team under Dale Talon for 10 years now. And I saw it again this year. They had that nice start, and they had some really quality wins and some incredible comebacks, but it was an aberration. And it's been a mediocre team since. And then the goaltender really never got back to where he was. So now you're off for 3 months, and he's a slow starter. He hasn't played for 3 months, and this is a soft team. They have so much to prove to me now to get me back to, look, it's not that I believed in them. It's that I gave them the benefit of the doubt, okay? They were all growing and youth and all that stuff. And
it looked like they made all the right moves.
Right. And you were hoping that they would, gradually grow better and take that next step. But we kept waiting for that, and it doesn't happen. And I'll keep telling you one part of my theory that some of you will disagree and some of you might agree with me, and some of you never thought of this. Alexander Barkov cannot be the best player on a hockey team if your hockey team is going to be a great one. Do you know why? He is a top 20 player. He's a fantastic two-way player. No doubt in my mind about that. But he is not selfish enough. He's not explosive enough on the offensive end. So you need somebody better than him as a scorer. And there was a part of me that said, well, they don't need a sniper anymore. They've got so many guys that can score. No, they need an alpha dog. There is no alpha dog on this team. There's not a guy that takes over. And that's what they need that. And then their defense is still not good enough. It's not tough enough. It's not consistent enough. Finn 9113, man, it's really hard for me, my brother.
A series win in playoffs, because we've noted it.
Yeah.
Not since 96 when we beat Pittsburgh to get to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
You're talking 24 years. It would be huge. It would be incredible.
Yeah.
But the ramp up of physical element in playoff and us, the way we cower against physical, it's just not a good combination.
Yeah, they got to show me. In order for me to believe it now, I have to see it, man. I have to see it. You know, Dennis Akers says, I'm with you, Big O. I'm an independent. Yeah, it's on my voters registration. It's listed as Republican. Actually.
Well, look, because of
that's how I signed up back in 1984.
Look, they talk about the fact that I originally was Republican. I switched to Democrat. I did do independent for a while, but obviously researching it, the fact that you're not involved with the primary that truly decides who is running for you.
Right.
Independent, you don't get that. And it's, as much as I would love to, the lack of chime in there,
Yeah. That's the reason why I've never changed it. I'm just like, man, I'll vote for whoever I vote, and at least I'm on one side of the primary, on the Republican side, and I'll vote and whatever. But I vote for both. If you listen to me enough, you know that I have voted for both. I voted for Republicans and I voted for Democrats because I'm not going to lock myself. I call it party zombies. That's my saying for people. When you just, it doesn't matter who you give me as a Democrat. Yeah, Hillary's the greatest. Hey, Trump's the greatest. Bush Jr.'s the greatest. And you're just not willing to be honest with yourself. I call you a party zombie.
I'm actually surprised that you didn't do I've been registered as one of the three at some point in 34.
I've been lazy
on that. The fact that you've kept it.
Yeah, I've kept it as Republican. That's how I signed up because I voted for Reagan that year.
Right. Yes. Most of us, that's why I went.
But that's it. But outside of that, I've never changed it. But it's not really what I am. I vote for whoever I like.
Let's face it, that wasn't.
Or at least the lesser of two evils.
That wasn't too hard of a decision. Let's face it. What Reagan was up against.
Yeah. Back then, yes, definitely. Let's see. What do we have here? Tara Reid said Biden raped her. You're going to vote for that guy? Brother, I don't want to vote for either guy. I don't know about you. But, what am I going to say? And Trump has been, whatever. He
wants to grab the cooch.
This is what I love. Tommy Italian 305 said, Tara Reid said Biden raped her. You're going to vote for that guy. Well, Tommy, do you vote for the other guy that tells Billy Bush that he grabs them by the pee? You guys ever notice that thing that he told the guy named Billy Bush that he grabs them by the pee? So I'm just wondering if you're gonna take a shot at Biden, then what do you say about Trump? I'm just wondering because women came out. Listen, John F. Kennedy banged everything behind Jackie O. Okay, he was banging everything in sight. He had Marilyn Monroe as a side piece, all that stuff. Bill Clinton apparently was a terror. Trump apparently has been a terror. So Biden, do you think our country cares about that? Really, in the end. And here's the other thing that I always bring up to people. What does being a president have anything to do with your relationships? If your wife doesn't care or she doesn't do anything about it, that's her damn problem. That's all. If you can run the country, that's fine. Now, if you're assaulting women, now that's a crime. But if you're cheating on your wife, that's her damn problem. I don't care if my general or my president is cheating on his wife. That doesn't matter to me. That's personal. Plenty of CEOs have successful businesses, and they're not great with their personal relationships. Plenty of those people that are rich and very successful have 3 marriages or 4. Now, if you're committing crimes like Clinton and Trump and Biden have been accused of, well, then that's a whole different ballgame. Now you need to pay the price. But this whole thing about, well, he wasn't faithful to his, who gives a rat's ass, dude? I don't care about that. That's her problem. That's his problem. Maybe they have an open marriage. Maybe she knows and she doesn't care. I don't know. Maybe they're kinky. I heard about a broadcast couple that used to, a broadcaster that his couple, as a couple, they'd travel and they had a third party that was traveling with them all the time.
As long as you're not hurting anybody.
Right.
Man.
That was their kinky ways, bro. And no, I'm not telling you who it is. Okay? But but that's whatever. The guy was an excellent broadcaster. Whatever he does with his wife and that third party on the road trips.
Maybe it made him a better broadcaster.
Maybe it made him happy. Whatever, bro. That's his problem. But our country keeps voting for guys that are either sexually assaulting women or they are unfaithful to their wives. That's never stopped them. Doesn't matter, man.
The best thing about running one of the beauty pageants is the fact you can walk backstage and take a look.
It's the fact you hear a Democrat pick on a Republican candidate that's had that trouble, and then you hear the Republican pick on the Democratic candidate, and they're all the same, dude. They're all cut from the same damn cloth, bro. They're just one's represented by a donkey, the other one's represented by an elephant. That's about the only thing that's red and blue. That's it. Outside of that, they're the same guy.
God, for a second, it almost sounded like we went to Mexico.
It's like, give me a break. It's like anybody like, wow, if we vote Trump out, we get Biden in. Like, wow. Yeah, that really inspires me. Like, oh man, do I feel we're really in good shape now? Come on, man. Come on. Let's be honest with ourselves. Kind of screwed as it is. Let's see. Tremolio says, possibly the most overrated rock band of all time is Kiss. I mean, listen to the song, Beth. Freaking brutal, horrendous songwriting and the vocals. Oh, my God. You mean Peter Criss doesn't sound like Freddie Mercury to you? Let's see. George Albany says, Agrio, it comes back to the media. No respect to privacy. They are scum. Let's see what else. John Rouse says, because the Dem Party controls most of the media. They do, huh? And how much did that help them in the last election, John? Because the media was all saying that Hillary was winning, was going to win easy, was going to win a landslide, was all that. So if they had the media, John, how come the other guy won?
No, let me compound it. The Democrats even ate it and went, oh, we don't need to appoint Supreme Court. We can put it off because Hillary's going to win, right?
Yeah. John, your theory just got, crushed, okay? And that's maybe because you're a party zombie. And you're a Republican, and so now you say the Democrats control the media, yet that's all the media reported 4 years ago, that Hillary was going to win easy, and then she lost. So media doesn't control anything, brother.
I don't think the Fox people.
People do whatever they want.
I'm willing to bet the Fox people weren't saying that Hillary got it.
Of course not. Well, Fox and CNN are as slanted as it gets, dude. There's no objectivity out of CNN and Fox. Come on, man. The media controls, the Democrats control the media. That's ridiculous, John. Big O, I think the scariest part about Trump is precedents that he's setting for future presidents. No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody will act like this again. I just don't think that they'll vote for a person like this again, the country. I think they'll understand that they'll have to vote for somebody that has some kind of a track record involved in all of this, because he's a fish out of water in so many. Look at right now, you need an empathetic leader right now. You need somebody that's going to cut. Look at Biden. That loser is going to be with the Floyd family today morning. That's where Trump should be. But that's not his strength. It's not being personable, not being emotional with people. And Biden's going to do that, and that's going to help him. Okay? But again, I'm not telling you, we're screwed, bro. We're screwed. I'm telling you guys, we're screwed. Okay? But it's just, it's a tough situation, man. Cookie Vice, another one locked in on the Super Chat. Thank you, Cookie Vice. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for being a voice of reason, Cookie Vice says. Well, I don't know about that, but, I just go out there and call it like I see it, and sometimes it doesn't turn out well, and sometimes it does. What can I tell you? It is what it is. Did you see the Rashay Caldwell story? How about that, man?
Very sad, man.
Right?
41 years old.
41 years old. He was shot and killed in Tampa. For those of you that have not seen the story, Rashay Caldwell, former Florida receiver, played for New England also. Second-round pick of the Chargers in 2002, was shot and killed in Tampa. Caldwell's mother confirmed the news. She explained that Rashay was getting ready to take his girlfriend on a date. He went inside his home to grab a jacket, and he was ambushed by a couple of people who wanted to rob him. He was shot in the legs and chest, and he died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. He spent 4 years with the Chargers, one with the Patriots, and one with Washington. Just a sad, sad story for Rashay Caldwell and his family. And he ends up losing his life on what looked like a normal just day that he was going to go out and enjoy himself with his family, man. And to see that, that's really, really tough to see. The other one that I thought was kind of interesting is the situation at Iowa. I don't know how many of you have seen what's going on in Iowa, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday on our show. And Kirk Ferentz has a strength coach called Chris Doyle, and he's been there 21 years with Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. Okay? So several players came forward over the last couple days to talk about incidents. And one of the things that this whole movement over the last 2 weeks here has done, it has empowered the black community to come forward and talk about these things, because normally when they would come out and talk about this, it's a he said, she said, he said, and usually you didn't get anything out of it. Now, we did it with women, right? That with the sexual assaults, we have given women the power to come forward now. And HR departments everywhere have been enforced in every corporation.
Weinstein, big.
All these men now that are sick, now they have to kind of watch what they do and what they say and how they act, right? And so now we have done this now for the black community, which is so fantastic. And so a lot of these young men that had some real bad experiences with Chris Doyle are now coming forward, and Kirk Ferentz is now hearing these stories. And it said, Ferentz said, over the past 24 hours, I've seen some difficult and heartbreaking posts on social media. I appreciate the former players' candor, and I've been reaching out to many of them individually to hear more about their experiences in our program. I am planning on talking to all of them in the coming days. This is a process that will take some time, but change begins by listening first. Now, James Daniels, who's with the Bears, he said there are too many racial disparities in the Iowa football program. Black players have been treated unfairly far too long. Iowa defensive back Emmanuel Rugamba, he transferred to Miami of Ohio. He said he mocks black athletes. He says as a result, it made you walk around the facility on eggshells and caused anxiety that could be unbearable at times with your dreams and career on the line. Terrence Pryor, a former linebacker, said many racist incidents during my time with Doyle. Okay? Maybe you should take up rowing or something, you know? Or wait, black people don't like boats in water, do they? So these are things that have come forward now. And one of the things that I would like to tell the Iowa football program is, don't be naive. Don't be foolish. And open up your eyes. Because no one, listen to me, it's nearly impossible. Okay? I think it might happen once or twice in a lifetime. But I think it's rare, and I'm telling you, near impossible. There is no way you or I can be around a friend, a family member, an acquaintance for 21 years. And at that point, you never find out they're racist. They never said a racist comment. You're going to tell me that Chris Doyle, who spends hours every day with Kirk Ferentz for 21 years, he spends more time with Kirk Ferentz than most of his family. and most of the kids. So in 21 years, Chris Doyle never made a racist comment? Get the hell out of here. You've been around your family member for 21 years that's racist? Can they stay 21 minutes without saying something racist? Can they stay 21 days without saying something racist? Hell no. None of you. If you have a racist friend, you're going to tell me that for 21 years you didn't know that your friend was racist? Get the hell out of here. That's where I say you got to question Kirk Ferentz. In fact, I might go as far, if I'm the Iowa football program, to fire his ass. As good as he's been for the Iowa football program. Because I know him and Hayden Fry have been great coaches for them over the years. But you're going to tell me for 20, how can Kirk Ferentz, if I'm the athletic director, how can I have Kirk Ferentz sit in front of me and I say, Coach, so for 21 years, Chris Doyle worked under you, and he never, ever displayed any of these kind of traits that these players are talking about. Come on. Seriously? Am I supposed to be that stupid to fall for that? Okay, so Bill Clinton also didn't inhale when he took a drag on the joint. Right? That's what I'm supposed to believe. Oh, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. So that's what I'm supposed to believe? I mean, come on. Okay? That's what these people do this to us, right? And they think we're that naive and that freaking stupid that we're going to fall for this. And look, I'm not saying Kirk Ferentz is racist. I don't know if he is or he isn't. I don't know. There's plenty of us that aren't racist, and we've had a friend, a family member, or something that we've been associated with that is racist. And, sometimes it's a family member. What the hell are you going to do? You don't deal with them, but they're still your damn family member. But think about it. You think you can hang around a friend or a family member for 21 years and they never, ever show anything racist?
Not very often. You know what I mean?
I think it's impossible.
Look, we all have friends that, whatever their political, it's abrasive. They're constantly what I like to call the sandpaper.
21 years, you're going to be hanging around that person and they're not going to show it?
Oh, of course.
Hey.
No, because when you get in your comfortable environment.
You and I hang around a lot in 21 years. Not as much as Kirk Ferentz and Chris Doyle.
Yeah.
Not even as much as them. Because they're working 10, 12, 14-hour days.
From morning till
every
late
day.
Night. Yep.
They see each other way more than you and me. You're going to tell me that for 21 years, Chris Doyle
never boiled to the surface.
Was always an impeccable. Get the hell out of here, bro. Please. I'm not born yesterday, man. That's where, if I'm the AD and I'm sitting there with Kirk Ferentz, I'm saying, you're lying to me. You're lying to me.
Right.
And in fact, you better come up with examples right now that it happened, or I'm firing you right now. You better tell me the truth right now. If you want me to back you up for 1 inch, you better tell me Chris Doyle did something racist in front of you. Because if you're going to lie to me now, then I can't keep you.
You know what is good about...
There's no way that happened in
exactly what you're talking about. Oh, you know what's one of the good things that's come out of this? Back in the day, there would be he's on temporary leave, this, that. Now, because of how it's been brought to the surface, no, you're fired. We can't. This is unacceptable. Can't have it. And that one single change, man, way overdue.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right, we
need to shift gears, please.
Yes, let's get a quick break in. We do want to tell you about VSS West Pines. We love talking about Jose and company down there. Both Jose's and Tommy. I'm telling you, go on down there, man. Go see the guys. They will definitely take care of you. Alex is out there. Jason, great people. 12397 Pembroke Road. It's where Barefoot Mailman and Spencer's meets CBD for all of your CBD products for you, for your animals. Go on down to 12397 Pembroke Road. A lot of anxiety, a lot of stress going on. If you're in pain, CBD can relieve all of that. It is not a drug, okay? It is completely legal, so you don't have to worry about it, folks. 12397 Pembroke Road. They've got topicals and salve for pain, transdermal patches. They've got hookahs. They've got water pipes. They've got rolling paper. They've got all kinds of things in there. I mean, it just doesn't end. It is a great store. You're going to love it. 12397 Pembroke Road in Pembroke Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you.
We're going out there.
Yes, Wednesday. We'll be out there Wednesday, 954-613-3367. They still have curbside service, so you can order by phone. Go to the website, pick whatever you want, 954-613-3367. If you're a little paranoid and you don't want to get off, you don't have to, baby. But on Wednesday, get off and visit us, because we'll be broadcasting out there from 12 to 3, VSSWestPines.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
We are ready to rock, baby. We promised you that John Krasinski would be kind enough to join us. The senior NBA writer, covers the T-Wolves and the NBA for The Athletic. You can follow him like I and so many others do at John Krasinski. John, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing? Although I think it's still good morning for you there because you're an hour behind us, right? Oh, wait a minute. I'm not hearing him. Hold on. Wait a minute, John. There we go.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you now. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. We're just coming up on lunchtime now. So good morning, good afternoon to you guys. Thanks for having me.
It's always great to have you on, my friend. And I got to tell you something. Karl Anthony Towns is one of those young men that, we talk about and what kind of a star is he going to be, and the leader and the franchise and all this kind of stuff. And I know he had the run-ins with Butler that's here with us in Miami. But over the last month here, what's happened to that young man with his mom, and then with his mom passing a week later, he's standing there next to Steven Jackson in the George Floyd press conference. I could not be more impressed with the human being than Karl Anthony Towns, how he has handled the kind of adversity that very few of us ever even get to face in our lifetimes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's well said. I mean, he's been through the ringer for sure. I mean, you think about it, and he loses his mom in April to COVID-19, goes through that whole heartbreaking experience, and then basically in his sort of adopted hometown, the place that he's called home for the last 5 years in Minneapolis, is really the flashpoint for global protests about police brutality toward people of color. And what we saw, and what we're seeing in this city and in so many across the country and across the world is, people are gathering in mass to make their voices heard. And one of the things that you have to worry about when you do that is, will there be sort of a second wave of COVID, or will it be more easily transmissible after all of the shelter-in-place steps that we've had to take? But even given that Karl has already lost a very close family member to the disease, to the virus, he was still willing to go out there and to stand by his brothers and to make his presence known. And so to have to put yourself in his mind about probably being nervous about going out into big crowds, about, not really kind of showing his face publicly since his mom passed away. And for him to still do that just shows you what kind of strength that he has inside of him. It was really impressive. There's no doubt about it.
John, what's it like being in the center of this entire Black Lives Matter movement? Because obviously you guys are pretty much the hub for this entire movement.
Yeah, I mean, it's been heartbreaking and inspiring, I think, at the same time. I'm from here originally. I've lived here most of my life. This is my hometown. So to see the way that people of color are treated here by law enforcement, I've known of it in the past, of course. I mean, I've seen several of the other instances where black people have been shot and killed by police, and there hasn't been a whole lot of repercussions for their actions. And I certainly spend a lot of time around people of color in my job, and I have friends as well who we've talked about situations before. But I do think that this last week and a half or 2 weeks has really kind of driven home, how much different life is here for people of color than it is for white people like myself. And it's caused a lot of soul searching, and to watch kind of the way that the riots and the looting kind of played out, and to see your city burn like this it's really hard to watch. But at the same time, you come to the understanding that this is how people believe that they have to do it to get noticed, that they have gone on for too many years trying to do things the right way and the polite way and the quiet way, and none of that has changed anything. So now they're doing things the loud way, and I think that it has gotten...
Oh, we broke up there, John.
And so while, you hated to see the video, absolutely, it was just one of the worst things I've ever watched. But then you also do see people coming together, and you see people trying to affect change in a positive way. And so that part of it has been encouraging, but there's no question that to be in the middle of this storm and to be the reason that there are demonstrations and that there are riots and looting and peaceful protests and everything else all across the globe, it's really hard to grapple with. There's no question about it.
Yeah, although the beautiful part, I have to say, is that the looting and the rioting, those people have subsided. And now the last couple of days, the real people, the protesters, because it's two different groups. It's the protesters, and then you have the looters and the rioters who have been part of protests for 100 years. That's been going on, that you always have that element. But that element has subsided the last couple of days. And you got to admit, it's been a beautiful thing all across, at least in our country. I know the other countries are still having some of the violent issues, but our country it looks like that stage, we've gotten past that stage now the last couple of days.
Yeah, that it has been really nice to see that because, as much as I guess it can be effective in terms of grabbing people in power by the shirt collar and saying, look at us, we demand your attention. It certainly can't be sustainable. And you think about all of the people who have been affected by those things, by losing their stores, losing their businesses, and a lot of it are minority business owners in these areas that are really afflicted, and you feel terrible for them. The one thing that is super encouraging, as you alluded to, Orlando, is that when it subsides, it allows the conversation to get back to where it should be in the first place. Amen. And I think that when there are those other acts, it's easier for other people who need to hear it to dismiss the conversations about police treatment of minorities, about what so many people of color have experienced in day-to-day life, and achievement gap, and education gaps, and all of these things. It allows them to just brush that aside and just focus on the damage that's being done to property. And I think some people, it allows them to forget about the loss of life that precipitated it. Well, now we seem to be recalibrating again and getting back to the really important issues at hand. Is that why George Floyd, why Ahmaud Arbery, why...
I think we lost John there. John, you there? Oh, wait a minute. I think we lost him. It shows him still there?
It shows he's still connected.
But I'm not hearing you, John. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Yeah. Call him right back. I think something happened there with the connection. There we go. All right, now we'll get him. We'll get him back on, and we'll try to get the conversation going again with John Krasinski, who covers the T-Wolves and the NBA for The Athletic. You can follow him, by the way, on Twitter at John Krasinski. And for me, that's when John's talking about the changes. I think that's been the cool thing over the last couple of days now, the changes. And now, I want to get into more of the changes that the league is making, and obviously the teams that will be going to Orlando. Minnesota is not one of the 22. Krasinski, of course, covers the T-Wolves on a daily basis. John, you there?
I am here.
All right, can you finish off that last part of your statement, because you kind of went out and we lost you there?
Yeah, just basically kind of that it's encouraging to me that the conversation is going back to where it needs to be and away from the damage to property and things that is kind of that overshadowed a little bit of the reason that everyone was protesting in the first place. And that's that people of color for too long have been mistreated by law enforcement, and that needs to change. And so I do think that we have seen the conversation swing back to that, which I think is just really important to keep our eye on that ball to make sure that we can get the change that needs to be made there.
All right, quickly, 2 questions before I let you go, John. One, for you personally, as a writer and as a beat guy and covering this league and covering the T-Wolves, do you take some pride in the sense that you're, or maybe, not pride, well, maybe there is a little pride, but do you feel that you cover the league that's run the best? Like, we know the NFL is the most powerful one. They make the most money, and they're the most popular one. I thought Goodell this weekend stole the page from the NBA and did what an NBA commissioner would do, following up the players' promo by following up with that. I thought that was very NBA-ish. And I think the NBA may not be the richest league, may not be the most powerful league, but by far, it's run the best. By far, they make the most logical decisions. By far, they have the best relationship with owners and players. I'm just wondering, just as a writer, how does that make you feel that you cover the league that gets it the most when it comes to sports and humanity?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that I have always enjoyed about the NBA and covering the league, and really the reason that I sort of gravitated to that and a little bit away from the other leagues is that I think the NBA allows journalists and writers to really kind of write about and cover the people who are involved in a three-dimensional way. And that, I think, has always been embraced by the league. They understand that you are more than just a basketball player, that you're more than just the two-dimensional figure that's on the flat screen TVs in everyone's home, and that you have interests outside of it. You have things that are important to you outside of the game. And I do think that the NBA is really taking advantage of the way that they have always empowered their players right now, because that empowerment has built trust, as you alluded to, between the players and the owners, that everyone within reason is kind of looking out for the interests of the other parties. The players understand the owners need to make money. The owners understand the players need to have their voices heard in these major conversations that are going on in the country. And so because they have not ever tried to quell those voices and tried to control them, I think that there is just trust that is built up, and that's what you want to see between corporations and employees. And I think that is what kind of gives them an opportunity to be sustainable over the long haul, but also to be able to affect the change that needs to be made in this country. And they understand their responsibilities when they understand how many people look to them for leadership and guidance. And so, yeah, it is like, it's very heartening to see just how these owners, how these players, how the league officials, how the agents, all these people understand that there's more than just putting the ball in the hole. And it allows us as writers to cover those subjects and get beyond just the X's and O's of things, which I would drive myself crazy if that's all I could write about. So it's been really encouraging to see that for sure.
Think about it, bro. You could be covering baseball.
Oh my gosh! What a mess!
That is just
what
terrible.
An absolute mess.
All right, one more thing before I let you go. In the worst situation, it's a terrible scenario right now that we're all in, professionally, personally, all of that because of the pandemic. Did the NBA get it right on their way back? Did they do a pretty good job of setting up the right format to get back?
Yeah, I think they did the best they could with what they have. What Adam Silver had told owners leading up into this was that there are no good alternatives right now, so they just have to pick the least bad alternative. And I do think that it would be great if all 30 teams could have been involved some way. I understand going to 22 to try and get something in before you get in too deep into the fall, and then have to switch over to next season as well. And so there are going to be faults. There are going to be things that we look at as this thing opens up where you're saying, boy, this basketball is raggedy, or are they really doing everything they can to keep the players safe? They're trying everything possible for it. But I do think that what they understand is it's really important to get back on the court some way, somehow, to get back on TVs for people who are stuck at home and need a little normalcy, to get the money flowing again into the coffers a little bit for them. And so they just said, hey, look, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. And they banded together and they did it, and they got an understanding between all the sides involved. And I think that's really all you can ask for at this point. I mean, yeah, look at Major League Baseball. Sure. The NHL still hasn't come together with anything just yet, although I think that's coming. Colleges don't know what they're doing. The NBA at least has charted a path back that I think will be beneficial. And they're just doing the best they can right now in a bad situation. And so I think they did get it right.
Yep, I'm with you, man. John, as always, you do an excellent job for The Athletic, covering the T-Wolves and the NBA, my friend. Be safe out there and enjoy the coverage, man. Always enjoy your work. Thank you for taking some time.
Hey, thanks, Orlando. Good to catch up with you again. I'll talk to you down the road.
You got it, my friend. You be Studley, as always. There you go, the great John Krasinski. Nice enough to join us here to talk a little T-Wolves and a little NBA. Love that. All right. We'll have Bob Nightingale here at the top of the hour. And Bob is covering the really tough story, which is baseball. And baseball is just one that I can't explain it, man. I really can't. I don't understand what baseball is involved in. I whatever. I hope I'm so wrong about baseball, but I just think it's headed to being a niche sport. I really do. They don't get it. They don't get it all. Their fan base is dying. It's old.
You know what? Oh, this is nothing new.
Any new people. Yeah.
How long? You remember back in the day?
Go to 94.
Go back to the 70s, 80s, and collusion and being found guilty, and they've always been.
Yeah, it's at odds.
Just button heads.
Always. But they had the world by the balls. They were very NFL-like in those days. They were still Teflon. Because, in the 70s, you were still America's sport. Football was already taking over at that point. They were kind of starting to pass you up in the 70s. By the time we got to the 80s, football was number one in this country. But that 70s was still transition for you, and you were still super powerful.
TV helped NFL surpass and blow away.
But you're not that anymore. You're not that anymore. Young people don't care about you.
But you know what? This is the baseball owners, and this is our thing, and they got blinders. And they don't see the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they don't care. It's my way.
Or they're so ignorant that they just don't see it. It's not that they don't care.
Either one.
Either one is deadly. Either one is deadly, and the sport just keeps taking a nosedive. And seriously.
And like we've said, it's on them.
50 games, bro.
Dude, that's
baseball, 50 games.
That is a half-hearted, know-nothing effort.
That's not even a third of the season. That's not even 33% of your season, dude. And any of us that have watched baseball for a long time.
Well, you come out slow. And you go 2-12.
Nothing.
You go 2-12.
Yeah, dude. 50 games. I won't go to that extreme, but it's got to be like a team slightly better than the Marlins has a shot actually in 50 games. A mediocre team can win a division in 50 games because a really good team could just stink it out for the first 50
and most
games.
Teams don't even have their starting rotation fully, everything rolling.
It's just so ridiculous.
Dude, what happens if your closer starts slow? The first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he doesn't show up, and you lose 5 or 6 games.
82 was already, and at least the players came up with a 114-game schedule. That would have been, okay, that's pretty damn good. There you go. Now you got that's a good size of the season. You have a good feel for what you are. Okay, then you can go into the playoffs. Problem is, you keep running out of time.
Yeah, but you know what? The only reason
they said they thought that they had to come through with an agreement last week. Now they said, well, they got to come up with one this week. Dude, we're already getting to the middle of June.
You know what? The only reason that this has been being put back, let's face it, they're talking about no fans, so they'll be able to go to indoor stadiums and get out of the cold. But you know what I mean? If they were planning on playing at their place and having fans, the cold is in play, bro.
Oh, you can't do
it in the snow.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. And remember, any injuries you suffer are going to roll into next year.
Oh, and every one of these sports. The only one, football, obviously, because they have a chance of being on regular schedule.
They haven't been taken.
Everybody else, this will have carryover ramifications to next year.
Football's so lucky, dude. Football got their Super Bowl in right before the pandemic. And then they had their offseason during the pandemic. They get to watch everybody else try to restart and make all their mistakes so they can learn off of everybody's mistakes to then try to start on time. But they get to start on time because they get to watch how everybody screws it up. And then they can say, okay, we can't do what baseball did. We're going to do what hockey did. We're not going to do what basketball did here. We're going to do what hockey did here. We're going to do what baseball did here. So now
they got guinea pigs to run through the bad gambit.
I mean, NFL could not have been more blessed.
The first one, you pointed out.
Everything.
If San Francisco wins that Super Bowl where it actually started, they were the first one to shut down. If they have that Super Bowl celebration.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they would have been worse.
Like right out the block, being so lucky.
Yeah, it's like us if we would have had Kai Ocho and the concert, Ultra. Those things would have
Ultra with everybody from around the world,
right? And Kai Ocho too, bro. Central and South America.
You know what? True. Yep.
There's a lot of Central and South Americans that are coming for
the
damn Kai Ocho.
The European.
Right. That's for the other thing, but the Central South Americans come for Kai Ocho. The Europeans don't, but the Central and South Americans.
You know what? Spain is Europe.
But But that's
Or
more
Central and South, like you said, Curry. Yeah.
The Spain people are probably coming still more for Ultra than Cayocho. I don't think they're coming for Cayocho.
Once again,
Some tells me.
Bro, we got to shift gears.
Yes, we do. We're going to talk a little baseball because baseball has been very, very good to me. And now lately it hasn't, but, whatever. Anyway, Bob Nightingale does an excellent job, one of the best baseball writers in the country. He is a legend in our business, so we will talk to Bob Nightingale when we come back right here on The Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. We promised you we're going to talk a little baseball, and of course, Bob Nightingale is just a legend in our business, an absolute stud for USA Today, MLB writer, kind enough always to join us over the years. You can follow him on Twitter at @BNightingale. Mr. Nightingale, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great. Good to hear your voice.
It's great to hear you, my friend. It's great to have you on. Where are we, man? I'm seeing now that MLB is proposing a 76-game season of the players, but it includes a 75% of the prorated salary, which, again, seems to be going to be a hurdle now for these players. Talk to us, my brother. Where is the logic here? Where and when do we get baseball back?
Well, we'll probably have it back at some point in July as far as regular season games. So now it's, just like you said, it's a 75% pay cut if there's a full postseason. So the owners are saying, you know what, we'll give you over $400 million in postseason money, but we have to have postseason. They said the greatest fear would be season canceled after a month or two, and gone is $1 billion in postseason money. So both sides are very optimistic. There is a season. Now it's just a question of, hey, the owners, if they can't get an agreement, they'll play 48 games. But the more games, the better for the players. Obviously, the players would like to have 100% prorated salary, which the owners don't want to give them.
So explain to people, Bob, the difference in the earnings, because baseball makes a lot of their money in the postseason, correct? More than the regular season? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, well, right now the owners aren't getting their TV money now anyway, but they'll get about $1 billion in postseason TV money. If there is one. So the players, we're going to give the players $400 million of that. But they're trying to protect themselves.
in case the postseason is canceled because of the pandemic. So, yeah, the players that they want to just play, 48 games, 52 games. The owners could say this, Commissioner Rob Manfred could say this is what it is. Take or leave it, and they'll play. Obviously, the more games, the better. Even the MLB realizes that, hey, to make it like a real season, you'd have to play at least close to half the season for it not to be an asterisk in everybody's mind.
When, a couple weeks ago, people kept saying, well, this is posturing, this is normal, they'll come to an agreement. At what point do you start to get concerned? Because we are talking about the one sport out of the four that has the worst relationship between the owners and the players. And it's always contentious. I mean, it's nothing like it is like what we see with the NBA, that those two just find a way to come together and figure things out every single time. At what point, because I heard the baseball people say we had to have an agreement last week, and it didn't happen. So now we're headed into the middle of June. When do we start to get concerned about all this, that a baseball season can happen?
Worst comes to worst, 48 games. But yeah, I mean, the sooner the better this gets resolved. I mean, this is an important week to finish negotiations if they want, close to an 80-game season or, get to 78 games. As I've said to me, time is not our friend. The longer this goes on, the shorter the season's going to be. And so at some point, you're going to have to play at 48 games. So, there was agreement. The more games are played.
How much does the Boris factor come into all of this? Because obviously he's of the mindset of not giving the owners any kind of breaks. Well, if the owners are coming back with a proposal that's 75% of your prorated salary, that's not what baseball players were looking at. So what do you foresee here?
Well, and that part too, they want to say, okay, here's your full prorated salary, but you don't get any postseason money. Here's $400 million of postseason money. You don't turn your back to that. So they're just trying to kind of guarantee themselves a safe in that in case the second wave of the virus comes. The agreement. I've seen the agreement. It says they're black and white. If there's no fans in stands, if there's salary restrictions, MLB has the right to restructure the financial part of the package. And but later on in the agreement, it doesn't mention it. So that's why both sides are sticking to that argument. I think at some point the players will take a slight pay cut in exchange for that, more postseason money.
Now, and we're talking with Bob Nightingale, by the way, from USA Today. Bobby, is everything else kind of resolved? The health issues, everything else, where they're going to play, all that other stuff? Is the last hurdle the money, or do they still have other hurdles outside of the money? Have they at least been able to work everything else out? What do you know?
Well, the health and safety protocols aren't quite done yet. The MLB wants the players to sign a at-risk hazard in case they come down with the virus that they're not suing MLB or something like that. So players are going to be required to sign that agreement. There's going to be more smaller things. Hey, how many days off you can get during the season? Is that 30-man roster? Is that going to be all season long, or just the first month of the season? That sort of thing. But the big thing is the money. They get the other stuff taken care of a little bit later.
All right, man. Let's hope that they're able to get this thing done. The other thing, when you look at the COVID part of all of this, how many players do you think will choose not to play because of COVID?
I would think less than a handful. 2 or 3. I would think at the most. And I haven't heard any player yet. Even players that are diabetic, but players without one player's on the spleen, that sort of thing. Cancer survivors. I haven't heard anybody say they're not playing yet. So I would think just about everybody would. I really do.
All right, so let me ask you, Bob, how are they going to regulate spitting? They've been doing it for 100 years, my brother. Baseball players not spitting. That's just normal for them. They walk out of the clubhouse spitting. They're walking to the plate spitting. They're spitting on the way that they're running to first base. I mean, how are you going to stop them from spitting the entire time? I laughed at that one.
Well, yeah, you can't, right? There's no way you can stop that regulator. It could be publicly shamed, maybe people on Twitter like that say, hey, so and so just got caught spitting at their own plate. But yeah, otherwise, there's no penalty for war or anything like that. I just think shamed by other people.
Yeah, it's not like our boy Jim Leland sneaking in cigs back in '97 in the hallway, and then had to be called out like, hey, you got to stop smoking in the clubhouse. And Leland was like a freaking chimney, man. I remember covering Leland. Bob, and at 7:30 in the morning, you would walk into his office at spring training, and he had a chocolate milkshake and a cigarette, and he was half dressed. It wasn't really a lot of fun, I got to tell you. And when you're asking the manager all these questions, you know how it is in spring training. You're sitting there with the manager for 45 minutes. And I swear to you, Jim Leland must have lit up 4 cigarettes in that room with all of us for 45 minutes. I mean, he's chain smoking and drinking a chocolate milkshake in the morning, dude. That was his breakfast. Oh,
absolutely. When he was managing the Tigers and the whole stadium is non-smoking except for Leland's office, you walk in and just, puffs of smoke, or, you're trying to, splash away from your eyes. And you can stay there as long as you want, but it's almost like at some point you have to escape just to get some fresh air.
Yeah, it's like a freaking cumulonimbus cloud that's inside of Leland's office, man. I don't know how many of us have secondhand smoke issues because of Jim Leland, bro. If you've hung around him long enough, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Between him and Jack McKeon with the cigars, it's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we had Leland and McKeon, so yeah, we had that. Well, but in Miami, it's all right with our cigar culture down there. We're good with that. Follow Bob Nightingale, by the way, on Twitter at B Nightingale. Catch his work there at of course, USA Today. Bob, as always, you're a stud, my man. Thank you for taking some time. You be safe out there, and let's hope we get a little baseball back.
All right, look forward to it. Thanks, Big O.
You got it, baby. You be good. There you go. The great Bob Nightingale, man. Good stuff there. And by the way, love to DraftKings, FanDuel, GPP Central. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. And he has a message for you. He says, thanks, Bill. Never stop doing the cut sessions. I always catch up with you guys live. Stay blessed. Fins up. Keep growing. Thank you. So he loves the cut-up sessions. So
awesome.
Well, we have to. That's the most.
We try to accommodate everybody.
Well, we have to accommodate that because that's the most popular thing is going to iTunes or SoundCloud or our audio downloads is where most of our audience is actually. Like 99% of our audience is there. Like 1% of the audience actually watches it live.
You just heard our live YouTube people, man.
No.
They're only 1%, man.
Yeah, which is impressive because that means they're an exclusive class.
Oh, wait, hold on. You guys are all exclusive.
Yeah, that's
Especial.
These people are special, bro. They're locked in with us every day here. That's awesome. I mean, we appreciate everybody. But the people that are here live
more than that,
chatting,
they bring an element to the show.
Yeah.
Big time.
Well, they're part of the show, and they ask their questions
every bit of it,
and comment and all that. And we like to include people and all that. That's why I tell you guys you can reach out to us. When you're listening on the podcast, I want to include you too. So what do I tell you? Reach out on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105.
So they're exclusive in a all-inclusive club.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And by the way, when you call the accidentlawfirm.com website or .com and you call Bobby, please tell him that, the Big O Show sent you folks, all right? So make sure, whether it's VSS West Pines, you go to Toyota of Hollywood, you go to Acura, you go to Moody S Dental, wherever it is that you go, man, all right? accidentlawfirm.com text line, all of our sponsors. Whenever you go to any sponsor, make sure you mention us. It's very important. If you call EJD Construction, mention us. Okay? If you call Pallet Rack City because you want to straighten out everything going on in your company. 300Bs. Make sure you mention our show. It's very important. If you want to keep us around, well, one, it would be nice to use our sponsors, but two, it would be really nice if you mention us because that's really important to us that you mention to all of our sponsors, okay? That's very, very important. So we thank the great Bob Nightingale for joining us here on the program. We'll have Andrew Ivins joining us at the bottom of the hour. Some interesting stuff went on in the UFC over the weekend. And some of the things that I think were, well, first of all, you saw that Conor McGregor ended up retiring, right? And you've had...
Three's a charm?
Yeah, right. This is the third time that he retires. And so a lot of people are wondering, well, this is just, he's not, which I think is what it is. He's not getting the fights that he wants. It's like the Cejudo kid. He just came out too and said the same thing that, if I got this one fight, I would actually come out of retirement. And the guy just retired. Okay? So he just retired and he's coming out and saying, well, if I get this specific fight, then I will come back out of retirement. So you're not really retired. You're just waiting for the right fight.
That was 249 right after the fight, right? After he won, did he announce that's the kid you're talking? He's the one that announced, and Dana's kind of standing there. You said he's looking like,
right.
You're doing what?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like you're standing there and he's retiring, and then he comes out now and says, well, I would unretire if Volkanovski, is my next fight. So Cejudo will come back for that one because he wants to be legendary and he wants to fight Alexander Volkanovski. That's it. He says, I've done everything in the MMA. I'm satisfied with my career. There would be one fight that would really bring me back, that would really wake me up in the morning, and it would be Alexander Volkanovski. That's it. I want a third title because I want to be different, Cejudo says, to go into the history books as the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. Volkanovski, by the way, is a stud. He's got a pro record of 21-1 and hasn't lost since 2013, 7 years ago. Okay, so now you've got him retiring, you've got Conor retiring, right? And now you've got, Masvidal complaining about his salary, right? So Dana White was talking about the people gunning for some money, some extra money. Because, they think they deserve more money than what they're getting paid. Some people, well, one was Masvidal. He says that they're getting only 18% of the take and that boxers get a lot more. Here's Dana White addressing this.
I'll remind everybody that we're in a pandemic. The world is a crazy place right now with all these things that are going on. And, I think that everybody feels this right now. There's no fans, can't travel the fights around. I think everybody is pissed off, confused, been locked up in their houses for 3.5 months. People are wearing masks. People are, there's protests, there's riots. The list goes on and on. And I don't know. I don't listen. If you don't think that what I'm doing right now is probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, and if you don't think that 3 times a day I throw my hands up and I'm ready to say, you know what, this, believe me, and the amount of people that I have gunning at me right now is insane. It's insane. But here we are. This is our 5th fight? We've pulled off our 5th fight. No other sports are going right now but us. And one of the beautiful things about this sport is you don't have to fight. This isn't the NBA or the NFL where you better be at practice, you better show up and do this, you better do that. You don't have to do anything here. And if these guys want to sit out and retire right now, or anybody feels uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form with what's going on, you don't have to fight. It is all good. So if that's what Connor's feeling right now, John Jones, Jorge Masvidal, you know, I feel you. It's not like I'm going, holy, this is crazy. This is nuts. Nothing is crazy and nuts right now because everything is crazy and nuts right now.
That's right. And on the 18%, well, here's Dana talking a little money from some of these guys.
Being the financial wizard that he is, I'm assuming
he's talking
his
about
numbers
Masvidal.
are correct. Here's the thing about Masvidal. We just signed a new deal with Masvidal. Masvidal just signed a new 8-fight deal. He's got 7 fights left on his deal, you know? And my people were working with him and trying to get a deal done with him when he already has a deal. John Jones has like 7 fights left on his deal. He just signed a new deal less than a year ago. So guys, you can say whatever you want about it. I have a deal. We just did a deal with both guys. This isn't one of those scenarios where like they've got some 3-year-old deal and it's like, oh man, that was 3 years ago. I'm in a much different place. This was months ago.
That's and you hear that, and that's where guys like John Jones and Masvidal, it's like, what is wrong with you guys? You just signed new contracts right now. You're off your first fight, and you got 7 more fights left on your contract, and you're not happy with it? And here, Dana White knows he's got them all by the balls. Where are they going to go? There's no other UFC, you know, Bellator and all that, but they don't produce the kind of money. They're going to get less money there. And the beauty of what Dana White and company have created with the UFC is this. There's no 49-0 guys here. The best fights are scheduled all the time. You're going to fight the best fighters. People lose in this fight. You don't have 4 or 5 guys that are running 25-0 and 30-0 and 32-0 and that you can pick and choose and you can pick this tomato can and this guy and beef up your – that just doesn't happen in the UFC. Dana White has done something really good for competitive fighting, that he will pit the best fights. That's why we're going to get Justin Gaethje and Khabib, because that's the best fight. That's what you want to see. That's what I want to see. And he knows he's got him by the balls. And because everybody eventually loses in this game, even more than once, he knows that these guys are under contract now. He's got him by the balls. You don't fight for me, you don't fight for anybody else, and you don't make any money. Now, you want to make the money that you are making? Then there you go. There's your contract. And again, because of the way he's got it set up, you don't stay as a champion for long, and somebody else is quickly in. And some new name comes in. Now, are they going to be the household names that some of these people have turned themselves into? No. That's where you have to find and develop the next guy and woman that is a great fighter and a great character. Here's Dana White on finding out about Conor retiring.
No, one of my people grabbed me and showed it to me on social media. But that's Conor. You know how Conor works. That's how he does things. But listen, Conor, there's been a handful of people that have made this thing really fun for me. And Conor's one of those guys. You know, and I said the other day to somebody, you know, when you look at the star power that Conor McGregor, the star that he became, this thing globally to people in places that had never seen it before or been interested in it. And, you know, every star that we've ever had has contributed a piece to building the sport and building this brand. Conor's been fun. It's been awesome. And he's got... I heard some information today, which is funny that it was today. It's because of this deal that I'm working on. But Proper 12 whiskey has sold an obscene amount of liquor, you know? And I don't know what his financial situation is with that thing, but I would imagine he owns a good piece of it. Conor McGregor's not going to need any money anytime soon. You know, he loves the fight. He's passionate about it, and he's got an incredible fighter IQ. But whatever his reason is, when a guy said, you know my feelings on retirement. When you say you want to retire, don't worry about it. You do your thing, man.
He'll get the next guy. Conor has gotten human, and he's enjoyed the money. And I don't know how long this proper whiskey goes without him being a champion. I kind of have a hard time believing that, but maybe in his own country, he has a lot of people buying it, and, you know, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Maybe it's actually a really good whiskey.
We were told that it's okay.
I can
remember I had asked. I forget which listener it was, but I remember we were at Craig's Inn probably about a month ago, 5 weeks ago.
I'm no whiskey expert, so even if I tried it, I couldn't tell you if it was great or not. But I still have a hard time believing that it's going to be this incredible thing that will carry him for the rest of his life. I still have a hard time believing that.
A lot of thirsty people in Ireland, bro.
No, I get it. I get it, but still, man, I just have a hard time believing that. Now, as for going back to the money, and obviously fighters are always open for negotiations and wanting more, here's Dana White addressing that.
Well, the priorities are the guys who want to fight. They're the priorities. So the guys who want to fight, we'll keep them fighting, and these guys can make There are more eyeballs on these kids right now than ever in the history of the business, ever. We are at an all-time peaking high right now with numbers, with people watching right now. And you guys have to feel it with the traffic. I mean, we do this show at Laura Sanko, right? In the back, she's live. And it was the last one, I think. She pulled 7 million viewers. Thing we're doing on the back on social media. She's pulling 7 million viewers on that thing. Everything we're doing right now is at an all-time high. And so these kids that want to fight, I'll make them money and I'll keep them busy.
There you go. And I know he'll get the next guy, and he knows it. So, you know, I'm a Masvidal fan, man. He's such a likable dude. Unlike Conor, who's unlikable, Masvidal is very likable, okay? I think Khabib is also very likable because he's intense, pretty respectful, and a guy that, like, you know, he doesn't talk too much. He just kind of goes out and lets his fighting do the talking, those kind of guys. Now, Khabib isn't part of this group. He isn't complaining like the other guys. But when you look, John Jones is a knucklehead as it is. I mean, it is what it is with John Jones. But that guy is so unstable, and Conor seems to have also the same problem of being unstable. You know what I mean? And I get that Masvidal wants more money because, hey, he doesn't know how long he's going to be one of the great fighters in this business. Because eventually, like I told you, they all lose. They all have setbacks. None of them stay undefeated forever. They have, and Dana has created that kind of a business model. You're not going to conveniently, you know, avoid the top fights. You will have to fight the top fights in order to keep your belt. And he knows he can develop the next guy and the next guy and find the next character, and having them under contract, he's got them all by the balls.
You know, it's something I noticed.
But it was funny to hear these stories, and then you hear and you find out, well, the guy just signed a deal, and he's only got one fight under that deal. He's got 7 more to go. And you're complaining about money now? Dude, you are done, okay? These are contracts. They hold you to contracts. That's just the way it is, okay? That's why once you sign it, you better make sure what you sign. Okay? Because if you don't,
you shortchange yourself, man. Yeah. It lasts for years.
Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed on SportsCenter, because of UFC being in bed with them, they usually have a segment man, I probably have seen it 2 or 3 times in the last 3 weeks since, 249, I think, was the start of Corona fighting. They talk about the top 10. And it's like almost every time that they have a new group come in and sit down and talk, they're mentioning, because everybody's watching and this, and they're talking about, plus the fact that people are retiring, and there's this change that, and I think these guys that have got there, are like, hey, I'm at number 8. If I go fight this guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've seen it like 3 times with different people discussing this, who are the all-time UFC top 10s.
Right.
And it's that little seed planted, and it's like, hey, I need, for me to go up a couple rungs on this all-time let me get that one fight,
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. All right, let's take a quick break. Andrew Ivins is going to join us on the other side. Craig's Inn, Acura, Pembroke Pines, a proud sponsor of our program, folks. 2020 models out there. The ILX is $239. The RDX is $379. The MDX $409, folks. Only $29.99 do it signing, plus tax tag and registration. And, folks, they are giving you 90 days, no payments, whether you buy or lease a vehicle, which is a beautiful thing during this tough transition. And for you military veterans, $750 down. For you first responders, $750 down. Graduates, $500 down. You can also order by phone. You can do everything online by phone. Call Craig's Inn's, Acura, Pembroke Pines, and find out more. You can actually have your car delivered to your home. But if you want to get on down there, get on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. And they're celebrating their 12th anniversary, baby, at Craig's Inn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. When we come back, Andrew Ivins from 247 Sports is going to join us. We'll switch gears. We'll talk a little Canes with him next.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Time to switch gears here. We're going to talk a little Canes, baby. We love talking to Andrew Ivins from 247 Sports, covers the Canes on a daily basis. You can follow him on Twitter like I and so many others do at Andrew_Ivins. Mr. Ivins, good afternoon, young man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, just hanging, staying safe.
Has everything been virtual for you pretty much? Or have you done anything personally at all?
Well, in terms of like work or what?
Work.
I mean,
work.
Schools the kids are starting to get back out and work out, and there's going to be camps coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. But really, it's just all been electronic, on the phone or communicating via Zoom and all that stuff. So that's really what it's been like.
Well, the latest story you guys broke was Jared Williams out of Houston. So how excited should Canes fans feel about this young man?
This is a big addition. Miami is adding a veteran offensive lineman to the roster, a guy who has started 19 games in his career. I know most of them were at the Group of 5 level, but he played some Power 5 competition at different times, like against Washington State and Oklahoma, and he was really good. And, Miami last season gave up 51 sacks. That was the most out of any school, Power 5 school in the country. I mean, that unit was absolutely terrible, and where was the issues? It was at those tackle spots, and now they're bringing in a guy in Jared Williams who has played some left tackle but played a lot more right tackle, and he can get it done potentially out on the edge. So this is a big addition in my eyes when you pair it with what else they've been able to get out of the portal. Derek King, the quarterback, Quincy Roche, the defensive end, and then Jose Borregales, the kicker. I mean, they've really addressed all 4 concerns kind of that they had coming out of that 2019 season.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. Now, the only thing I'm afraid of is that we're now building up the hype a little so much. Now, I mean, we got Canes fans getting all excited. They're tweeting at me. They're DMing me. Oh, man, Manny has addressed everything. And you know what? It's hard not to get excited because Manny did address pretty much everything we pointed out last year that was wrong with the program. Now we've got to see if it can all actually come together, my brother. But where should the hype be and how realistic should it be? Because, there was some guy that was like tweeting me yesterday. He goes to me, oh, this is going to be the class that changes the program and makes it, go to greatness. And I said, oh, just like Northwestern. And then he was like, oh, dude, why'd you have to do that? And I go, okay, well, I'm just saying. So how jacked should we be about some of these changes? How realistic?
It's a bit of a loaded question, and I understand. I understand everyone taking a step back and being like, "Look, we heard the same thing last year. Dan Enos was coming in from Alabama.
Right.
They had Tate Martell. There was a ton of reason to be optimistic, and how did that play out? It was pretty much a disaster. My thought process now, if you're a Miami fan, look, we've been saying, or some people have been saying for years now, they need to embrace a spread offense. Well, Manning has done that. He went out and got Rhett Lashley, who is going to push the tempo. They needed a quarterback. They went and got Derek King. And if you talk to some people inside the program, you keep hearing, this is a guy. He's a dude. We think he can win with us. And we never heard that last spring about Tate Martell or really even Jared Williams or N'Kosi Perry. It was kind of just like, oh, well, I guess Jaren's going to be the guy. And it seems like Derek's been the complete opposite. He's come in and pretty much won the job and taken over and become a leader on the team. So I think just changing offensive scheme, bringing in a quarterback that they think they can win with, and then plug and play, try to improve the offensive line a little bit, getting another kicker. I mean, I think if you had a capable kicker last season, that's worth another win. And not really much is going to change on the defensive side of the ball. I know they lost some guys to the NFL, a few of the linebackers, but I think there's a reason to be optimistic. And look, man, if it doesn't work out, they crash and burn, then there's a good chance Manny's not going to be there. So if you're a Miami fan, why not be excited about, hey, they address these problems? I mean, it's been an excellent offseason. You have to give Manny an A or an A+. And If it doesn't work out, it's not going to work out, and someone else is probably going to come in.
And I'm with, dude, I give Manny an A+ this offseason. I kind of find myself, like some UM fans too, really excited and intrigued about this upcoming season because of, I mean, man, the aggressive nature of really fixing everything. He really went. I got to give Manny a ton of credit for not. He didn't live in denial or anything. He pretty much saw all the things we saw, and he went after it. And it just looks like this could be a much better team this year. But again, it's just hard for me to get excited like last year or like the Northwestern kids back a few years back. And, you know, I've been disappointed before. And that's where I'm kind of praying for the best.
Well, I would take a cautiously optimistic approach. I mean, think about it like this. I think I said this to someone last night. Let's go back to last season right before that Week 0 opener against Florida. I mean, I think you felt good, but you knew they were starting some freshmen off the offensive line. You knew it was Jared Williams. I mean, now let's fast forward to this season. Like, you have to feel a lot better about where this team kind of stands. And again, we'll see where it goes, but I think Manny has made the right changes. I mean, the offensive staff across the board, I think, has gotten better. I mean, there's guys in that on that side of the ball that I think could be head coaches. And I don't know if last year I would have said that about anyone else, you know, aside from Danino. So it's been impressive. He's made the right moves, and now he's just got to win.
By the way, I know we were talking. What about Jaron Williams? Where's he finally transferring? Is he going to FIU?
Well, FIU was the rumor. That was a couple months ago. That never really came to fruition. I know they got a quarterback they really like on campus, a younger kid who I think is going to take over for James Morgan. So he's not at FIU, and then there was some talk of him potentially going to Western Kentucky, but they ended up taking another quarterback out of the transfer portal. So as of right now, I do not think that he has made a decision about his future school.
Wow. He hasn't made a decision, or he doesn't have an option?
I think it might be a little bit more of the latter right there. I mean, I don't know if he's getting glowing reviews from the people in Miami.
Wow, that is crazy. All right, on the recruiting side, what has happened with the Canes and commitments?
Right now, they have the number 11 ranked recruiting class according to the industry generated composite from 24/7 Sports that combines all the services. In Miami, to be honest, I think they've done a real good job kind of since the end of the season. You know, they're not going and getting the 5 stars down here in South Florida, but they are in contact with those guys. They're positioning themselves where if they do roll off a 10, 11, maybe 12-win season, then maybe they can get one or two of those guys in the boat. And I think that's really all you can kind of ask for right now. I mean, the FIU loss last season really killed them locally with a lot of these kids. But Manny, we keep saying he's pushing the right buttons, and I think he is. I mean, he's got Ed Reed on his staff now. You know, Ed Reed can call these kids and FaceTime and do Zoom calls with them, so I think that's working. So right now, I would say about half the class is in place, and they're going to just kind of see how it goes. I mean, no one can take visits right now because of COVID-19 or anything like that. And I honestly think that's an advantage for Miami, because if they do roll off some wins, they're going to be a lot more attractive in November and December when it's time to sign than they are right now.
What do we know about the return of college football? What are you hearing, Andrew? And I would imagine that for sure fans are not going to be a part of it. So talk to us about what are you hearing? Are they going to play football without students? What's the deal?
I mean, to be honest, I haven't heard much of those conversations. I mean, I don't talk to a lot of the administration side. I just talk to more of the college coaches, and they all seem to be under the belief that they will play. I mean, some of the Miami student athletes started rolling back into campus. I think it was last week. I heard some of the enrollees, so some of the freshmen, they're expected to arrive in July. I think there's going to be a season. I mean, that's just kind of my gut feeling with this. I know Blake James said a few last week that he thinks there'll probably be no fans, but I mean, they're going to play. There's too much money in this whole thing, and I think people just want to get back to normal, and sports feel normal, even if there isn't fans in the stands.
NFL is that they both got to finish their seasons before the pandemic. NFL was lucky they could have all their off-season stuff on a virtual level, and they were able to get away with it. And then now they get to watch basketball, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and soccer make all the mistakes, and then they can learn from all those mistakes and possibly have a season. So that's the good thing about football, that they, calendar-wise, this thing's kind of worked out for them. Now we'll see if the pandemic kind of, allows them to have the rest of their season. But, man, it really gives them an opportunity to learn off of other people's mistakes.
You're right. I couldn't even imagine. I mean, let's go back to when they shut down the NBA season and all that, how crazy that was. Can you imagine if that was week 4 of the NFL season, week 5 of the college football season? It would have been insane. So, and that probably really would have reset the sport a while, because now they have to go back to a training camp and all that. So it's an interesting thing to ponder.
Oh, yeah. No, and on the college side, kids would have graduated. So they would have been gone.
I mean,
for 3 months, that's it, dude. Your football season's over. Your career's over. You're moving, at least the seniors, that is, or juniors that we're going to declare. And you're out. You're already preparing for the NFL at that point if it would have happened last year. That's how screwed up it was.
Yeah, it would. Unless they're giving out waivers and letting some kids play again, which I think they decided to do with baseball, which is a spring sport. But it would have made it an interesting scenario, because some guys are going to want to chase that money in the league, and you really couldn't blame them.
Right. Some guys would not have played because they were going to risk injury. Other guys, obviously, if they still had eligibility and they were going to come back next year, then they can continue to play and put it on tape. But, yeah, the guys that were going into the draft, you would have lost all those guys at that point last year, man. That's crazy stuff, man. Andrew, what are you working on right now so Canes fans can follow you at Andrew_Ivins or at 247 Sports and check it out?
Oh, like you said, we were talking about the recruiting. There are some decisions coming up here. A big one on Saturday. Romello Brinson, he is a 4-star wide receiver out of Miami Northwestern. You know, they just won a state title this past season. Absolutely going to be loaded in 2020. He's going to make his decision on Saturday. He was a kid that was formerly committed to the Hurricanes, actually decommitted after that loss to FIU, opened things back up. But Miami's in his final group, Texas A&M's in his final group, and Georgia's also in his final group. So I haven't made a prediction on that yet. I think it's a 2-team race right now between Miami and Georgia, and I think it could go either way. But Miami's hoping that this new spread offense and the fact that they're going to air it out and throw it around and put up points is going to swing things in their favor.
Do you like their wide receiving core for this offense?
I think if they were going to add one more guy in the transfer portal, that would be the position to do it. And I know a kid at Nebraska just put his name in today. I mean, I don't know if they're going to try to make one more monster splash, but I think that is the one area where there's maybe a little bit concerned, just because they don't have the numbers that they want. But I do know that the late kid they took last from the last recruiting cycle, Keyshawn Smith, so he was someone who signed with Washington State. Miami ended up getting him because Mike Leach left Washington State for Mississippi State. They really like him, and he was there for the first 4 spring practices as an early enrollee. So I think the group could be good, but I think it's going to be a while before it's where they want it to be, just in terms of numbers and skill set and all that stuff.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter, Andrew_Ivins. Catch his work there at 247 Sports. Andrew Studley, as always, my brother, thank you for taking some time. You stay healthy, my friend. Stay safe.
You too. Thank you for having me on, and hopefully we'll be talking more football here in the future.
No doubt about that, man. You be good out there. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you.
Bye.
You got it. There you go. Andrew Ivins, baby, from 247 Sports. It is hard to hold back the enthusiasm for the Canes this year. I have to admit, I've made the mistake. I got jacked like you guys did with the Northwestern class, and we got let down. I got jacked with you guys last year. I love Manny Diaz. I wanted Manny Diaz. I didn't want to fire him. I never said to fire him last year, but he did suck last year. Okay? All right? I love Pat Riley, but for a 3-year stretch, he sucked. Okay? All right? I just got to say it, man. We got to call it like we see it. All right? You got to compartmentalize. Doesn't mean you're off the bandwagon. Doesn't mean you don't believe. But Manny Diaz was terrible last year. Terrible. He looked absolutely incompetent, lost, like he didn't know what the hell he was doing as a head coach. All right? As good as he looked as a defensive coordinator, that's how bad his team looked as a head coach. I've never seen a team less prepared than Manny Diaz's teams after every break, 1 week or 1 month. It didn't matter if it was a bye week or they were preparing for a bowl game. They were never prepared. I've never seen that in my life. Okay? Once, yes. 4 times, I think it happened last year. Never seen that in my life. Every time they had a week off, they looked like crap the following week. And they had a month off before the bowl game, and they looked like they never practiced before the bowl game. But I gave Manny the benefit of the doubt because it's his first year. A lot of you wanted him fired. I'm not for that. I want to give the man another year, another chance to come back. Now, I can't see any of that stuff this year. But I will admit, every move, Riche, De'Aric, now this Jared Williams kid, the kicker. I mean, it's on and on. It's Rhett Lashley. Every move just looks like it makes a ton of sense.
Every move last year was wrong.
Right.
Since the offseason, every move has been
Seems like
right.
It's the right one. And so I'm with a lot of you out there, but I'm kind of tempering my enthusiasm, going, okay, I got to, you screwed with me last year.
You're not ready to sip the Kool-Aid?
No, not yet. Not yet. I need Manny to show me that he can coach a competent team week in and week out. You know what I mean? I wasn't part of the bandwagon to get rid of him. I want to give him that opportunity to come back and redeem himself. You know what I mean? Because it was bad last year. Oh, man, that was disgusting last year. It was brutal. As brutal as it gets. Samuel Robina says, Big O, hopefully the offense looks a lot better with our new OC. Lashley did some great things at SMU. Let's hope so. Troy Ortiz says, Manny's ass is fired if we flop again this year. Yeah, there's no doubt. You have to fire him this year if he flops. You know why? You've done everything he needed. You paid him. You paid his staff. You let him make a mistake in his first year with the offensive coordinator, bring another one in, and then they suck again. Yeah, you gotta fire him. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's sad, but he's gonna make or break year in his second year. Yeah, because he has to show competence. I'm not telling you. Look, anybody expecting the Canes to win the national title? I'm not expecting that. Are you expecting them to win the ACC? Not expecting that either. We're not sitting here with unrealistic expectations. We're telling you, dude, Miami every year has enough talent to win the Coastal. So win the Coastal. That's it. Win the Coastal, lose to Clemson. We're not going to be happy that you lost to Clemson, but hell, we're going to understand that you lost to Clemson.
At least show up, unlike the Louisiana Tech.
Right.
That's
another thing. That's a great point you make. Go play Clemson in the finals of the ACC. But what Bill said, show up too. All right, not 53-3, whatever it was, the golden year, whatever that score was, 57-3.
The 1 year we got into the ACC championship game?
57-3 or something.
It was wax job.
Right.
Got waxed.
Well, that can't happen again. Show some competence. Hang in there. It's all right if you lose. We get it. That's all. I don't think anybody's asking Manny Diaz to win 11 games, dominate the ACC, beat Clemson, and play Alabama tight in the national championship game. Nobody's asking you that, dude. You're in your second year. Just show us that you can lead us in the right direction. Okay? That's all.
Look like your guys are prepared for every game.
That's it. That's all. Coach them up, baby. That's all I want. Oh, you mentioned Riley rebounding after bad years. Do you think coaches are given as much rope as before to deliver? And is that fair? Maybe Manny's informed by his mistakes and is better. Yes. The only thing is, Dougie Fresh, Riley can screw up for 3 years when 20 are phenomenal. You understand? And so Riley earned the right to not be perfect because he's usually been stinking perfect. It's amazing how he runs that franchise.
Oh, you pointed it out. Riley's been able to write his ticket of when he wants to go,
right.
He goes.
Right.
He's got that pass because of what he's done.
Manny Diaz has earned nothing as a head coach. He's never proven it anywhere else. You know what it is? You know what it's like, Dougie Fresh? Dale Talon. A lot like Riley, right? He had his run in Chicago, proved he was great, had a great run. They won championships, all that. Okay, you come here. You didn't turn it around quickly. Okay, you got the benefit of the doubt because of what you did. Now it's 10 years, man. Now you've given Dale Talon more than enough time. Well, in fact, you've given him too much time. He should have been already fired. In fact, Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu had it right and semi-wrong a couple of years ago. They were actually right to take Dale Talon out of power. It's just the fact that Tom Rowe was the wrong guy to put in that mix. But the move that they were making in hindsight was probably the right move. You just got the wrong person for the transition. That was the problem. But the owners may have had the right intentions. Okay? It didn't work out that 1 year. And to their credit, it was so bad that they said, no, we got to fix this right away. And that's why I think they're great owners. I really do. They inherited Dale Talon and the reputation, everything that came from Chicago. It's now time for them to put a stamp on their own guy. That's all. So Riley earned the right to screw up and make up for it. Manny Diaz has not earned that right, unfortunately. That's why his back is against the wall, and he cannot do what he did last year. Nothing like it last year. He has to prove he's a different coach.
Dale Talon has done one thing, though.
What has he
Out
done?
on the course. He used to be a double-digit handicap. Now he's down to a single.
There you go. There you go. I love it. The team's in a pandemic, but his game isn't. All right. The Canes acted like they won the national championship after halftime versus the Gators last year. Worse than that, dude. What was that? What was it, like Eastern Central Michigan, whatever? They were like celebrating that victory in week 3 or whatever last year. What was that?
FIU at halftime when they come out and they're dancing on the sideline, getting their butt kicked.
Yeah, right. That too. The guy dancing at FIU, yeah. Yeah, Myron Sanchez says, so far Manny Diaz has been terrible coach and leader. This is the year to prove Canes fans he's the right coach. He has to. G-Trap says, oh, my God, Tom Rowe. Ew, yeah, I know. But think about it, G-Trap, GP-Trap. They might have had the right idea because Dale Talon has not done anything. And so maybe they were right in taking the power away from him. They just picked the wrong person in Tom Rowe. That's the screwed up part about it.
You keep forgetting about the improvement in his golf game, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, that could only help us out on the ice. Jean-Luc says, I really want to know why these college QBs are all doing the clap to the hike of the ball. Well, the sound. Sometimes you can't, when they're in the shotgun, it's hard to hear the voice. So the clapping, they know which clap they're supposed to on the first, or the second, or the third. So maybe that's what it is. It might be a sound thing, if you've noticed, because usually it's a road thing and that kind of stuff. It's not usually at home where people are going to be a little bit more quiet. At least that's my guess. Troy Ortiz says there are no more excuses this year. 10 wins minimum or the season's a bust. Look at our schedule. Dougie Fresh says, oh, well said. I agree. Earn the right to make mistakes. Yeah, I mean, Shula would have an 8-8 season once in a blue moon. He had a 6-10 season. But like in 30 years, it happened like 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? So when you're a Dolphin fan, you're like, well, okay, we had an off season, whatever. It's Shula, bro. We'll be back next year. Yeah, and that's where you're like, okay, the season sucks, but we got shoes. We'll be fine. He'll figure it out. He'll get us back on track next year. Riley, he'll figure it out. He'll get us back on track. You know, that's what you're going to do with those kind of guys. That's why I learned my lesson when we push Shula out. Riley leaves when he wants to leave. Okay? Nobody's pushing that guy out. They better not. He's fine. Let him lead. Because I don't know who the next guy is. And we got rid of Shula, and we're still trying to recover. And I think we finally recovered 25 years later. But it took a quarter century, but I think we're in the process of recovering. I don't want to wait another quarter century and pushing Riley out. So, and look, we didn't push him out, and now slowly but surely coming back now.
You know, it's the perfect.
What's that?
Spoelstra followed Riley, coach. Follow him, general manager. Just pass it on.
Yes.
Pass the baton.
Yes. Well, that's if Spo wants to be that. I don't know. I have a feeling Spo is a coach.
That he's going to be there forever and a day?
No, but when he retires,
he'll be done and walk.
Done. I don't think he has this front office thing with him. I don't think so. I think Spo loves the art of coaching.
Okay.
I just get that's the feeling I get from the young man.
The one thing about this organization that we know from the G League, everybody is on the same page, following the same plan.
Of course.
So there has to be somebody, right, per se groomed or being mentored in that baton pass.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Yeah. I mean, but the problem is he's so young still. He's, early 40s maybe by now? He's still young.
Right now, I'm hoping that he's a little older. Sorry, Coach.
He's got a lot. He's got another 20 years if he wants of coaching the Heat with no problem. They beat Central Michigan by 3, and they're dancing in the locker room. That's it, Thomas. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you. It was Central Michigan.
I remember we were at Hialeah.
So embarrassed with
we
that.
even had Carlos with us.
Yes.
And we were talking. Come on, man. Central Michigan's a decent team, and that's when you pulled out. Yeah, you're talking 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They were 1-12 or 1-11 last year. This is not a good team.
Yeah. Who takes over if Manny can't cut it? Tommy Italian 305 for life. I have no idea, my brother. No idea. That's not like they have the assistant coach to take over. They go and hire another head coach. Who would it be? Your guess is as good as mine, my friend. I have no idea. I know it won't be Mario Cristobal, just in case if you're leading that way. All right. Maybe the Florida Panthers can take advantage of the playoffs, but I have my doubts. Myron, so do I. I have major doubts about that. Oh, don't worry. Once we play the Islanders, you guys will put your out of your misery. Let's go Islanders. Oh, so Alex is a Islanders fan. Yeah, I don't expect the Panthers to beat the Islanders. I don't. I just don't expect the Panthers to win in this series. In any series in the playoffs. I just don't, man.
If they do, it's huge.
It's enormous.
24 years, no playoff
No.
wins.
I would love it, bro.
It
Don't get me wrong.
would be huge.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just in a prove it mode with those guys.
But,
I don't believe you at all. You have to prove me wrong for me to believe you.
Percentages, I got to think 30%, because we have had the ability to score those 4-goal deficit. And if Bobrovsky,
that was flukish. That was the beginning of the year.
Could do what he did last year in goal against number 1 seeded Tampa, it isn't like we don't have it there to do. It's just the Islanders are so physical, man. That's the one element.
Jean-Luc says if they push Riley out, they will have a mutiny on their hands. Oh yeah, there's no doubt. You can't push Riley out, bro. Anyway, the Heat is just, they're smarter. Troy Ortiz says, Big O, in your opinion, how far do you think the Heat is going to the playoffs? No more than 1 round. I don't really think they'll go more than a round. That's about it. If they go around, they were a 500 team the last 35, 37 games, whatever it was. They weren't really that impressive. After the 24-8 start, they're a 500 team. So I'm not sure. Maybe a round, no more than that. I have a little more faith in the Heat than I do the Panthers. The Panthers I have no faith in. The Heat, because they're so young, they don't have a lot of playoff experience. Young teams don't win in the playoffs. But they can shoot so well that maybe one round, and that's it. I just don't see much more than that for the Heat. I might be wrong.
So you don't think the youngsters have grown up while they've been sitting at home?
Not virtually. No. No, I don't think virtually you end up growing anywhere. All right, we got 3 hours down. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. If you want to get in, reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. You can reach out to us on email, Orlando at Big O Radio Show. Let's take a quick break. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
All right, we back. There's an interesting story, and, we've had a bunch of things go back and forth with Pete Rose over the years. And young people out there, you don't really give a rat's ass about Pete Rose, but I think middle-aged and older people, we've gone back and forth. Oh, he betted on baseball, but he bet on his team to win, and they should let him in. He wasn't cheating and all that. Excuse me. And he did it as a manager and not a player and all that. So what if something came out about Pete Rose as a player? How would you feel about that? Does it change anything for you? Because Brian Greenberg has now come out with a very interesting story that he helped Pete Rose cheat. He is a guy. Greenberg says he used the drill decades ago to build cabinets and hang shelves for clients back home in Montreal, but also to cork baseball bats for a couple of Montreal Expo players, including Pete Rose. Greenberg wouldn't identify the other players whose bats he said he corked in violation of baseball rules, only that they played in the 90s. But he claimed he corked a couple of dozen of Pete Rose's Mizuno bats back in 1984 when Greenberg worked as a private carpenter and Rose played for the hometown Expos. He called me Corky, Greenberg recalled, sitting on a plastic chair at his driveway, a faded Canadian flag over his head in the entrance of his garage. He called me up and said, Corky, I need 4. Nicknamed Charlie Hustle during his career, he spent mostly with the Reds. Rose set the major league record for most career hits at 4,256 while playing from 63 to 87. He was banned from baseball in 89 because of gambling, including betting on baseball. Allegations that Rose corked his bat are not new. In 2001, Rose's longtime friend Tommy Giosa told Vanity Fair that Rose corked his bats in 85 while playing for the Reds and chasing Ty Cobb's all-time hit record. Rose alleged bat tampering during his brief Expos tenure was reported in May by the Montreal Gazette in a story citing two sources, one unnamed, who claimed Greenberg's corked bats for Rose in a room at the Olympic Stadium. They can say whatever they want, Greenberg told the Gazette, refusing to confirm or deny the involvement. But in interviews weeks later with the Palm Beach Post, and Joe Capozzi, by the way, let's give Joe Capozzi some love. He is recovering from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He clarified that he corked bats for Rose, not at the ballpark, but at his home, and offered some elaboration on how it went down. Rose told me he was using them for batting practice. I don't know what he did with the bats. Maybe he did only use them in BP. I don't know if he used them on the field, Greenberg said. I know it's a can of worms because it's already been opened. He said, referring to the Gazette story, parts of which he disputed. I just want the truth to come out. So a phone call to Rose and an email representative on Thursday were not returned. In 01, Vanity Fair article, Rose denied ever using cork bats in a game. He told Bloomberg News reporter that power hitters use corks because it helped the baseball travel farther. Now figuring out a way on how I cheated to get hits, Rose says, who hit only 160 career home runs. Now, the problem with Pete Rose is, dude, you're also a habitual liar. So you have no credibility. So back in 84, about 10 years before he started working as a clubhouse manager for the Expos and Marlins, Greenberg worked as a carpenter in Montreal. He said he did regular work at Olympic Stadium, including renovations and repair to the clubhouse of the hometown Expos. He also worked as an equipment manager to the Montreal Maniacs of the North American Soccer League, who practiced and played at Olympic Stadium. One day in April of 84, Greenberg said he was approached by John Silverman, the clubhouse manager for the Expos. He knew I was in construction and a worker and a tradesman, he says. Rose wants to see you. And he says, can you cork a bat? Greenberg recalled. In the conversation that happened with Silverman, and he had no recollection of it, he said in an interview with the Post, that was 36 years ago. I can't remember what I said 2 weeks ago. He also said he doesn't remember hearing anything back then about Rose corking his bats. I don't know how to cork a bat, Greenberg recalled, but I was pretty confident I could figure it out. According to Greenberg, Rose shipped 2 cases of Mizuno bats, 12 per case to Greenberg's house in the Duval suburb next to the Montreal airport, a 15-minute drive from Olympic Stadium. Working in his basement, which he said it didn't look much different than his tool-cluttered garage in Jupiter, he used a vise to fasten the bat to work on the table. He then pressed the trigger on the Black & Decker power drill and forced the tip of a 16-inch auger into the end of the bat's barrel. Pete's bats were exceptionally hard. It was green wood that was as hard as steel, he said. I'd be cutting in it, and the drill bit would be smoking. After drilling 12 inches deep, he inserted about 8 inches of cork, and he used a hand-punch tool to cut out 40 to 50 discs, roughly the diameter of a penny, from a sheet of cork. He glued them all together 5 times to form a cork stack, which he shoved into the bat under pressure with a wooden dowel sethered in glue. As it dried overnight, he sawed off the end of the dowel. Finally, he sanded off over the end of the barrel and touched up the wood with paint or a colored pencil to make the grains appear untampered. It took me about 10 minutes to do a bat. He would bring the bats to Olympic Stadium, where Rose slipped me some money once in a while, declining to say how much. Greenberg said he can't remember the exact date when he corked the first bat for Rose, only that it was early in the season, but he was confident it was sometime after the Expos' first home stand. Montreal opened that season on the road. April 13th of 84, Expos home opener, Rose connected for a double off pitcher Jerry Kuzman, joining Cobb as the only players with 4,000 hits. Greenberg said he's confident that he had not corked any bats for Rose during the home series, but he offered a peculiar anecdote about that historic day. Rose owned one of Ty Cobb's bats, and he was going to use that Ty Cobb bat in a game to get the 4,000th hit, but he broke it in batting practice. All in all, Greenberg said he had limited contact with Rose, who was traded to the Reds August 16th of 84 after playing 95 games with the Expos. So here is Mr. Greenberg talking about this. I've read most of the story. There's a lot more. He had a stint with the Marlins, by the way. He worked for the Expos in 01, then joined the Marlins in 02, but he said he did not cork any bats during the Marlins' tenure. He was fired by the Marlins in 09 as a secretary in the front office accused him of making racially insensitive comments, which he says the accusations were false. Okay? Now, here is Mr. Greenberg describing his story and his relation with Rose and the corked bats.
What I'm going to show you is how I corked bats for Pete Rose. Pete Rose, through the equipment manager, got to me when he was with the Expos and said, can you cork a bat? The bat is filled out like this to this depth. So there's a sleeve, now a hole deep inside the bat. These cork discs are cut out. This is the original punch that I used 35 years ago. The sheet cork is punched out. Discs are punched out. However many you need. I think
you got to see the video.
35 to 40 or 50 at the time. Then, in order to stop the cork from coming out of the bat, if the bat exploded, a drop of glue was placed on each disc of cork. Then the cork discs were lumped together 5 at a time. And this tool, which I made, which is a piece of a bat and a dowel, is used to push the discs deep into the bat. So the discs would get pushed in, glued, and pushed into the bat until the bat was full up to here. At the very end, a dowel like this, would be glued, inserted into the bat under pressure. The bat would be taken out and put in a jig all night to hold that dowel in there tightly because the corks were under pressure. When it dried in the morning, the edge of the dowel will be cut off and sanded. And if the bat wasn't cupped, it would just be cut off even, sanded smooth. You might see a little ring of the dowel on there. That would be sanded out, and the grains would then be drawn back in over that piece of dowel with colored pencils, and that's it. The incision would disappear virtually. Sometimes we'd color this, put the player's name on it, not we, but I. I did this often enough to know that Pete's bats were exceptionally hard. They were Mizuno bats. It was a green wood. I can't remember the name of it. It was hard as steel. The drill bits used to smoke trying to drill into his bats because they were honestly like iron.
There you go. That's thorough. You got to see the video. I just posted the article on my Twitter page at Big O Show if you want to read the article yourself. I read most of it for you guys, but you got to see the video too there because he's there at the garage and all that, and you can kind of, see it.
If you've ever done machine shop or anything wood,
he's very
you
believable.
got an idea,
very believable.
And like literally the step-by-step,
yeah,
the punch out, pulling them, gluing them together, the pressure, pushing, the dowel, sanding,
and then Pete lied for 20 years about betting. And then, so what can you believe from Pete Rose? That's the question I have for anybody. You know what I mean? I love watching the guy play. That's the guy.
He's one of my favorite players, man.
Everybody that in that era, if you watched him play,
Charlie Hustle, bro.
Everybody admired the way he played the game. But if you're also cheating in all kinds of angles, and so for people to say, well, he only bet as a manager, are you sure? Are you sure he didn't bet as a player? Are you sure he did anything else to cheat?
He didn't develop his gambling problem until he became a manager. Is that what you're saying?
You know, it's hard for us to imagine that a guy has scruples when he doesn't show any time. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to make any kind of case for Pete Rose that he's not a cheater and that he's not a liar, too, on top of all of that. It's just, these are the stories.
Look, we saw with Sammy. You remember when his bat exploded, batting practice.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit more believable because he had said that this is kind of a normal thing for guys during batting practice.
Sammy lies to you about dyeing his skin, too.
Right. Well, but you know what? The story was that they put on a show for the fans, batting practice. You have some cork bats so you get a little more distance. You get some more home runs and get them what they want. Me thinking about it, the possibility of getting a real pitch that could shatter your bat and embarrass the hell out of you in the middle of a game.
But he's not a home run hitter.
Right.
So that's why
to
he's a hitters. It's him and Gwynn aren't shattering bats normally. It's so hard for them to shatter bats because those are the kind of guys.
They're looking for placement. They're not looking for power.
And pitchers,
perfection.
And pitchers are also looking for placement for guys like that because they can't throw just fastballs to guys like that.
Right.
Those kind of guys that just smack it and just they'll smack
it. Put it where your guys are not all day long.
Gwynn and Rose would hit it to whatever field they wanted to.
Whenever.
Right, whenever they wanted to.
He would choke up on the bat a little tighter and inside out the ball anywhere he wanted.
Right. So those guys weren't going to be shattering a lot of bats. Reggie Jackson, Mike Schmidt, they're going to be shattering bats because they're looking to kill the damn ball every time. You know what I mean? It looks like they're going to – I mean, Gary Sheffield looked like he would blow out his back every time he swung.
They were swinging to hurt the baseball.
I don't know how Gary Sheffield still walks to this day, the way the vicious swing he had. I don't know how his back ever made
his bat speed. Him and Albert Bell, I guess, were the two fastest.
I've never seen that, bro. It was a vicious, mean
those
swing
years,
that Gary
those
Sheffield
years,
had,
dude,
man.
those years, when he was with the Yankees, obviously watching every game, bro, it didn't matter how far inside you threw. That guy would get the bat head all the way around.
Yes.
Right up against his chest.
Yeah. He's awesome. He was awesome. I don't know how his back held up. But, I mean, to me, this whole thing with Rose, it just piles on over the years. And that's where you got to kind of get past to, you know what, bro?
Your reputation precedes you. You're a liar.
That's it. Just, you know what? We're not going to put you in the hall, whatever. That's it. Because I've been the one that says, put him in the hall, but don't let him in baseball. Can't manage, can't do anything, can't own, can't run, get him away from baseball. But he does belong as a player. But now you get this kind of stuff, and you're like, you know what, bro? Maybe we're just better off leaving you out. And that's all.
You know what I've said in regards to the hall? And this would include Shoeless Joe and obviously the steroids and everything. You know what, man? Just build another wing. Baseball acknowledge this happened and throw them over there. And that way they're associated, blah, blah, but you're not in. It's just an acknowledgement.
Well, like I've said, you make a building that's shaped as a syringe. And you put them all in there. That's all. Bonds and McGuire and all those kind of cats. You have the syringe wing, right?
Right.
And then that's it. And it's built like a syringe. It has a nice needle at the top, with a little light at the top so the airplanes can see it. And, it's just our syringe.
Syringe wing of the MLB at Cooperstown.
That's it. It's round and everything. And,
and you just have
spiral staircase on the outside and an elevator in the middle. And, that's like the elevator is where all the juice comes through, and that's it. And you know what? At the top of every hour, the needle squirts out. There you go. Every time. 1 o'clock, ding.
And have a room.
2 o'clock, 2 squirts.
Have a room for the gamblers and corkers.
That's it. That's it. Gamblers, corkers, all that stuff. Files, everything. Phil Necro will have his own wing, where they've got the file. They show you how to file down.
Could even go into the 20s.
We got the cork section. You know, Sammy will be in the steroid section and the cork section.
So he gets a double dip.
He gets 2 parts inside that wing.
You could even throw in before the shine ball and all that. You know, you could acknowledge all of it.
Right, exactly. Cheater's wing, and it's a big syringe. And then the different floors are, you know, the guys that the greenies, and then you got the guys that were using the files, and you got the cork guys, and then you got the steroid guys. That's all. And, although, you know, I'm now thinking about it. There's a problem with the syringe wing. Okay, now I just thought about this. This is going to be a major problem for us. Barry Bonds, if you put his actual head, it will not fit in that wing. Because when he shot up, his head grew bigger than Joe Rose's. And that's, you know, obviously, you know, you got a bigger head than Joe Rose. You know, that's a mission there. So we may have to have Barry on the outside of the wing, maybe floating in the air or something like a balloon because his head is too big or something. I don't know. We'll do something.
Boshi, the manager for the Giants, doesn't he have the biggest head in baseball ever?
Yes, he does. Well, he does now that Barry stopped shooting.
Okay.
But
Barry was pushing maximum density and trying to.
Yes.
When Barry, his manager is the biggest head.
Yes. When Barry was shooting, Bochy was, you know, nothing compared to him. Bochy was just a tot. But now, you know, Bochy's got that title, and so Barry has had to take a seat back now.
Was Sosa originally with the White Sox? Is that?
Yes, that's who he was drafted by.
Dude,
skinny White Sox.
You see the shot of Sosa.
Yeah, he weighed like 170 pounds.
170 pounds wet.
I know.
Okay? Wet.
No, but he never did any steroids. He never did anything. Come on, Bill. What are you trying to insinuate, bro? The hell's wrong with you?
Man, just good eating and a lot of working out, man.
Next thing you're going to tell me, he's trying to become white. Tremolio says, no, you got it wrong. The cheating Hall of Fame would be all sports, not just baseball. There's the Grand Belichick Hall. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's still baseball is unlike any other sport. George says Bonds was beautiful as well. He was, bro. That's one of the prettiest swings. Him and Griffey had just magical. Jack Clark. Was it Jack Clark?
Yes.
No, Jack Clark is St. Louis. It's the San Fran is. It's not Jack Clark, is it?
I think it is. The one that played Mississippi
so
State
both
with
Jack Clarks?
He played with Ralphie Palmeiro, right, at Mississippi State.
Is it Jack Clark? Why do I think I'm saying it wrong?
Will
Clark. See, I told you.
Will Clark.
Jack Clark is the St. Louis guy.
Just give me a chance. Give me a chance. I'll get it.
Right,
Will Clark.
No, because I'm old and you
know what, dude? You know what's the story that I remember about Bonds?
And by the way, Jack Clark was a badass too for St. Louis.
They would talk about him taking batting practice with golf balls that were orange, and basically what it was
cork balls.
That's
what they were. They were cork balls. They're not. They're that size, like a
golf ball,
but they're called cork balls.
Okay,
is what he had in the baseball machine.
And it was just so that, like, when you see a baseball, it's like a freaking grapefruit. Exactly.
Right. That's how he was.
And you remember during that time, dude, the way he would body armor up, get right over the plate, not have to worry about getting hit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just tee off in like this zone. I'm looking for the ball here, and
the pitchers were defeated already.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen an eye like that in baseball. Barry Bonds at that time, the greatest hitter I've ever seen in my life because you couldn't pitch around him.
Bro, they would walk him with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
And allow the game to ride.
Yeah, he had
instead of giving up it was crazy what they were doing.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. Jack Clark came up with the Giants then cards. Yes. I remember Jack Clark. I just knew it wasn't Jack, I knew I was wrong and it was Will.
Yeah.
That was the
one.
Who
was the other one? It was him, Palmeiro. There was one more. That was Mississippi State. Wasn't there one more player with them?
You might be right. I forgot it now.
I want to say there was 3 of them there.
Guys, please tell me what the high done to really help Bonds. Huh? Oh, you mean what HGH? Bro, I'm tired of this conversation. Jesus Christ. Seriously?
Look.
Let me ask you something, okay? Let me ask. Just use common sense, bro. Why do you think they're taking it? And look at his numbers when he was skinny and when he got big. Look at his home run numbers.
No batter ever at 37 years old, home runs start going up like crazy.
Why do you think Ben Watson took it when he was running? The part that I guess some of you out there, I guess you're hard-headed or whatever it is, steroids makes you do everything better. Your reflexes are faster. You're stronger. You recover quicker. You will see better. Why do you think Bonds had cork balls in his batting machine? He didn't have baseballs. He had cork balls. They were size of golf balls. That's what he was practicing with because the roids make you better at everything. So your reflexes are faster. You
don't wear down. In a 162-game season at 37-30, you wear down. You don't have what you started the season with, the same amount of energy. The guy had it all the way through the playoffs.
Think about this. You're a 330 hitter already with a little power. Now you've been given the iron behind the power. So now you have the bat speed to bat 330. Can you imagine if you add strength to it and again, vision, reflexes.
It's like giving the guy aluminum bats. It's like giving the guy an aluminum bat.
Right, that kind of stuff. And so then that's why he became that much better because Bonds was already a Hall of Famer. Like, first ballot Hall of Famer he was going to.
How many times was he MVP, man?
But then he saw everybody hitting home runs, and then that's what he wanted a part of because the home run hitters get more praise. They get more money. They get all that. And so then that's why he went and shot up. There's a reason why they're all taking it. Okay? When they take it and then when they don't, and you see the difference between the two.
When you're competitive and you want to maintain and stay where these other guys you see that are passing you, you get a little, you know what I mean? And to get that, make up that difference that they got an advantage on you to catch up.
Yeah. It's just the naivete or the ignorance or whatever it is, it's got to stop already. Okay? Because it's really ridiculous that we're in 2020 and people are still asking, how does it help? Why the hell do you think they're cheating? Because it helps. In any sport, in everything. Cycling, cheating. Track, cheating. Baseball, cheating. They do it everywhere. Sylvester Stallone does it. So he can stay as young as he can every year. And he can do a Rambo movie at 87 years old. It works, dude. Okay?
You just need a little silly putty for your face, though.
You know what it is? You know what it is? The people that ask that, they need to get on HGH. They need to get on steroids. You need to do it. You know why? Because if you're at this point not figuring out that it works, then you need to go try it yourself so you can find out how it works. And you'll see how much younger you'll feel. You'll see how much more sex you can have, how much more of drive you're going to have, how much you're going to feel less tired, all that stuff. It works, dude. Jesus. I never understand that anymore at this point. Why the hell would you ask that? I mean, everybody's taking it because it works. That's why they're doing it. It works. Never heard of seeing better on the juice. They go, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything. It improves vision. It improves reflex. It improves recovery. It improves speed. It improves everything you do. The dude was practicing with cork balls. Not baseballs, cork balls. This size. That's what he had in the pitching machine. And he could see them like grapefruits. So when he got to the plate, the baseball looked like a volleyball already at that point. That's because he was on that good stuff, bro. I'm telling you. There's a reason why. Go look at that picture of that 75-year-old man that's got a body of like a 30-year-old weightlifter. It works, dude. It makes people feel younger, look younger, do things that they couldn't do. And then when they get off of it, boom, you're done. And that happens to players too. They get off the roids and their bodies go back and they break down because it works, man. It's an armor. Stevie M, baby, coming in. Steve M says, been listening and loving your shows for years, Big O. Thank you, Steve M. You are awesome, my friend. Appreciate you chiming in and giving us some love here on the super chat.
You want to go do steroids? Deterrent. Just go see Lyle Alzado's biography.
Yeah, that's right.
That's like that will.
And those were the bad steroids. Like these were better.
They're not so refined and labbed and.
Yeah, these things.
They were harsh.
Yeah, the ones that Alzado and the Steelers were taking were for animals. By the way, DraftKings, FanDuel, GPP Central also chiming in. Thank you, DraftKings. No, you got my mic off. Thank you, DraftKings. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for supporting us like you always do here on the program, like so many of you have been supporting us over the years. Renee Lopez says, it works, LOL, except if you're a Cubanito cop, which one it is, a big guy. Well, no, it works. It'll make you bigger and strong. That's what it'll do. It'll work. Now, it might make you a little crazy. You might get that roid rage. Myron Sanchez says, Babe Ruth didn't like Bonds, LOL. He was an alcoholic plus smoked cigars. Kind of chunky, but he was great at baseball. Plus, he was a pitcher, too. Yeah. Yeah, Babe Ruth. It's funny that all these guys use stuff to try to get an edge on the game. Mickey Mantle and all these guys back in the day, they were drinking and partying and then going to play. It's like Michael Jordan. Michael was like, I'll go eat McDonald's and go gamble and then go score 50 points on your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those deals, yeah.
If you throw Billy Martin into the mix, there would be a fight.
Ah, yes, a little Billy Ball. Oh, Panhandle crazies were doing okay, smoking carb cleaners, gators as pets, but then we started juicing and turned pro, eating faces and mainlining Dranos. Steroids improve performance. Man, those roids will do everything for you, brother. Now, it's going to eat up your liver, and it's going to do all kinds of other damage to you, but it definitely...
It's just like anything else, man. There's a compensation here, and on the scale, there's going to be repercussions someplace else.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter what you take. That's why whenever you hear any of the medical stuff, the side effects, because you're overloading here, there's got to be a compensation somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And by the way, congratulations to Michael Jordan. Jordan and the brand are pledging to donate $100 million over the next decade to fight racial inequality. And he said, Black Lives Matter. The Jordan brand is us, the black community. Jordan and his company said in a joint statement, Jordan brand is more than one man. It's always been a family. We represent a proud family that has overcome obstacles, fought against discrimination in communities worldwide, and that works every day to erase the stain of racism and the damage of injustice. The will, the work, the excellence the world has come to know is the result of one generation after another pouring their dreams into the next. It's 2020, and our family now includes anyone who aspires to our way of life. Yet, as much as things have changed, the worst remains the same. Black Lives Matter. This isn't a controversial statement until the ingrained racism that allows our country's institutions to fail is completely eradicated. We will remain committed to protecting and improving the lives of black people. Today, we are announcing that Michael Jordan and the Jordan brand will be donating $100 million over the next 10 years to organizations dedicated to ensuring racial equality, social justice, and greater access to education. And you know what I like about this? I know Jordan was criticized and rightly criticized in the past for rarely ever being involved in anything controversial. He wanted nothing to do with controversies. Because remember, he always said, hey, Republicans buy shoes too and all that stuff. So people lost respect for Jordan in that sense. Tiger, too, also suffered from some of that because These are powerful voices in the black community. And when things like this come up and you're not there front and center, it becomes a detriment to that community, because one of the beautiful things of these protests is it's not just the black community. It's not just all the other communities, white, Asian, Hispanic, women, men, all kinds of, religions. Everybody's getting together and fighting this fight together. But then we've also seen the big names come out now. We rarely have ever seen that in protest in the past. Now we're seeing all these athletes and all that. Back in the 60s, the guys that were leading, certain fights, some of the big names got together, but that was way back then. But in protesting and out on the streets and out there walking and talking, that's really been rare. Now, what we're watching, it's a beautiful thing. And for Jordan, I think this is growth for him personally too now, because it's a point where he can get past the business decision of it and the politics of it, and now he can go out there and look at Kaepernick. He associated himself with Nike. Remember, people were saying, "Oh, I'm not going to buy Nike, this and that." Their stock soared, dude. They sold more. You know what I mean? Because remember what I told you on Friday. There's more of us. You do understand that, right? There's more of us that are accepting of everybody. There's a reason why we've voted in gay councilmen and senators and governors and women that are councilmen and senators and black men and women who are counselors and senators and even president. And a woman has run for president. We have made progress, okay? There's more of us. The racist, there's less of them than us. That's why we've made progress. Don't let that get away from you at any point. We have made progress as a country. Everybody being elected and everybody in power isn't white. Now, are we where we need to be? Are blacks getting the fair shake? Are women getting the fair shake? Is the gay community getting the fair shake? Hell no. We know that. We're not there yet. But let's not make it sound like it's still, the 1820s. Because it's not. It's not the 1950s either. It's not the 1970s. There's a lot more of us that are accepting. Okay? All right, so I want to give us some credit. I know we got a long ways to go, but I know we made a hell of a lot of progress. And for Michael, this is also progress. And I think he's gotten to a point of power and influence, and the movement has gotten to a point where he's probably more comfortable now talking about this kind of stuff.
I was just going to say, the opening and people being more accepting and so not so harsh.
Right.
Like you took the stand. You know what I mean?
Right.
It won't come back and hurt him.
Right. And it's definitely not going to come back and hurt him, because look at Cap.
Look at Cap. Right. You've already got one that's shown that.
And so I just want to make sure that we get credit.
It's a safe play.
There's a lot of good in the United States.
Mike doing this at this point, it's a safe play.
Yeah.
No,
it's the right play.
It is the right play, but
it's the right play.
But he goes there because it isn't what it was back in the day. That's why he wouldn't go there. Is my point.
Right. Julius 305, baby. He is chiming in every day. Thank you, Julius 305. He says, great show today and yesterday. Appreciate you all, man. Yeah, we did a little show. I told you I would do something over the weekend. I wasn't doing much over the weekend. I'm relaxing, man. I'm at home, man. Life is
when I was talking
boring.
to the wife, since I got home Friday, I got in the car and I drove 5 blocks to Burger King. That was the extent of my outside weekend activity.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, me too. I just stay home, man. That's all. I mean, going today to the stadium was just out of the. And like I told you, we had a meeting and I was uncomfortable with so many people in the room. Already at that point, that's the paranoia I have on this, man. I mean, when you have 5 stents in your heart, this stuff scares the crap out of you, bro. I'm not ready to die yet. You know what I'm saying? I want to
like
hang
you
around
said,
a little bit more.
Hey, both of us would have loved to have a couple hours, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Go take a walk.
I would love
and
to
be
have
with the
been part of-
protesters.
I would
be
love to
with
have
the
been a
protesters and do this.
Yes.
But it was just like,
especially
it's
now,
not-
the last couple of days that the idiots are gone,
stupidness, yes.
right? The criminals are gone, and now the real protesters are there, and they're not being interrupted by those morons. The last couple of days, it must have been such a pleasure to go out to any of these protests, and I'm so proud of all of you out there that are doing it. And you can tell when you look at the crowds, it's really young, like all over.
Did you wait?
Can you imagine if we had no COVID, how many more people would be out in the streets?
I can't remember where
really
it was.
impressive.
Did you see the drive-by one that they did?
Yes.
And the
Yes.
elderly people in their car
Right.
that got to chime in
Yeah,
and
that was
get
pretty
involved.
Cool. That was pretty cool.
Good idea.
That was pretty cool.
very,
And
very impressive.
And in Orlando, the two groups that didn't know that their route was going to cross, and they like met, and like there was like this big celebration in the middle of an intersection and all that. I thought that was really cool, man. Those agent provocateurs tried to hijack the protesters. Yeah, but that's happened for 100 years. You've always had people protesting, and then you have the people that destroy, and they want to take advantage, and those are the criminals. Look, one more thing. I just want to remind some of you out there in this world, okay? Can I just I need to just I want to explain this to people out there, okay? In a way I shouldn't, because it kind of exposes them more, but maybe some of these people don't realize what they're saying, okay? Some of you out there, you need to stop saying, well, how come they're protesting about this and they're not protesting black-on-black crimes? I keep hearing this. It's kind of like the steroid question. Like, hey, how does that help you? You got to stop that. That's one of the most racist comments in the world. Okay? All right, I mentioned this a little bit in passing last week. Let me elaborate just one more time on this. Okay? By telling the black community, why aren't you out there protesting on black crime? Okay? Do we tell the Italian community to go out and protest when their mobsters are killing other mobsters? Do we? Because I don't know why the black community would care about the black criminals in their community. Are the Jewish people out there worried about the Jewish criminals? No, I don't think so. Are the Cubans worried about the Cuban criminals? No, I don't think so. Is white America out there protesting about white people killing other white people? No, I don't think so. Okay? Are Jamaican people out? You know, there's like a Jamaican mafia. Those guys are like absolute badasses. Like when they're killing each other, are Jamaican people out there protesting for that? No, I don't think so. No race, no religion, no sex. Okay. I don't know if there's a group of gay criminals out there, but I doubt that if there was, the gay community would be out protesting on gay crime. So when you tell somebody that's black that you should worry about black on black crime, you sound like a freaking racist. Okay? Because there's two Puerto Rican kids that are fighting and one kills the other, the Puerto Rican community isn't coming out to worry about two delinquents killing each other. So stop with those insensitive statements, because it makes you look like a freaking racist. Who the hell cares about criminals? If there's 50 Cubans out there and they're shooting each other, screw them. I don't care. And in the 80s, I wasn't standing there going, oh my Lord, there's a marimbero killing another Cuban marimbero. We're not out protesting about marimberos. Those are drug dealers. That's the word in Spanish. It's called marimbero, drug dealer. It's so racist, dude. I just, please remind people that it's racist. Because nobody cares about criminals. We're not out protesting gang members killing other gang members. That's the gang's problem. That's the mob's problem. That's the mafia's problem. That's the criminal's problem. That's not the white or black or yellow or Asian community. What is it? The Asians have the triads and the, what was the other one? Is the Asian community out there going, oh, my Lord, our triads are killing our triads? Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. Stop already. Stop with it's racist, man. Why would a black woman or man sitting in their house care about two black kids that are criminals? They don't care. Nobody cares about criminals. None of us care about criminals. We want to jail them and we want to get rid of them or try to educate them early on so they don't become criminals. That's all we want to do. But we're not here protesting for criminals. Nobody does. So the burden has to fall on the black community? Come on, man. Enough already. God, it's just, it's so insulting, bro.
Can I ask you, did you see the arrest of the guy that was rioting and him unloading on the cops and that they were hired, that there actually is this group that gets hired to be subversives in these protests?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yes.
I mean, and literally the cops said,
right, but they're not
there's
part
some
of the
validity.
protest.
Right. These people are hired
they're not,
to cause.
Right. That's the idea, to take away from the cause.
I mean, we've heard about it,
Kind of what it is.
but literally there is an investigation. This guy, yeah.
The ghost of George Jackson says, oh, please don't lump all people's issues with black ones. Not the same. What do you mean by that, bro? I don't know what that means. No idea what you're talking about. Criminals are criminals, bro. Doesn't matter the color or the religion or the sex or whatever. Criminals are criminals, man. No community needs to be out protesting of criminals killing each other. Nobody. We got a protest of innocent people getting hurt. That's the problem in this world. I'm not sure what you're talking about, bro. It's a general issue, and it's a general statement that is just insulting at every level.
The gangs don't get together to host a protest. I think that's called a rumble, right?
Yeah.
When they get together.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right?
Jean-Luc says, oh, thank you for bringing this to light. No, it's true. It's ridiculous, bro. It's just, why aren't they protesting black-on-black crime? Well, why should they? They're crimes. Those are two criminals fighting against each other. Well, they're two gang members. Oh, they're getting shot in Chicago all the time. Well, dude, they're gangs. So what? That's not my problem, bro. That's not anybody's problem. Let the police handle the gangs. That's their problem. They're supposed to handle that stuff. I mean, none of us want gangs. None of us want mobs. None of us want mafias. None of us want organized crime. But what are we going to do? Italian people all over the place. Why aren't you protesting on mafia? No. Why should they care? The question is, who is hiring the agent provocateurs that are smashing windows and attacking people? Exactly. And those are the things that you need to track down, arrest, investigate, and then dig deeper. And you'll find out. Oh, when a civilian commits a violent crime, they're usually arrested, tried, and convicted. The protest is about police who are in position of power disappropriately murdering people of color. Exactly. I'm with you. But this is against the person that says, well, because you always run into this man or woman that says, well, they're out there protesting about the cops killing the black people. Well, how come they're not protesting black people killing black people? And I look at him like, did you just say that? Really? Is that what you're saying? It's like, that happens all over the world. And that's just, it's a hateful statement, man. That's all I'm saying. Jean-Luc says, do you know the DEA is investigating the protests? Scary stuff. Well, hey, man, I don't have a problem with that. Investigate it, man. If there are people that are not doing the right thing in anything in this world, expose it.
The subversive element that's trying to undermine the good that's trying to be achieved.
Right. Of course. And there's going to be that because you have the people in power that don't want to lose the power that they have now and all the things that they've been able to influence and all the things they've been able to
they don't want
hurt
to share
the black community with.
They don't want to share.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
they don't want to lose that, of course.
Look,
but they are now.
Like they talk
They
about
are now, baby.
The upper 10% that holds 90% of America's wealth. Do you really think those people want to share that?
No.
Do you think they want to open up their country club to just anybody?
Nope.
This is that fraternity, sorority, closed and, don't want to open the doors.
Yep, no doubt. All right, we are wrapping it up here today on the show. We only did 4 hours today for you. That's all. Just a measly 4 hours of talk. Yes. What can I tell you? We're lazy here on this show.
And we even started a little bit later than usual because of
that's true. It's
your
just under 4
venture
hours.
north up the road to
Yeah.
do the inter stuff.
Yeah, you know what? I'm slacking, ladies and gentlemen. We really only did about 3 hours and about 45 minutes now.
Dude, as you say that, we are 5 seconds, 6, 7, 8 on the other side of 3:45.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly.
Only 3 hours and 45 minutes of talk. That's all we can do here today for you on the program. What can I tell you? Anyway, we thank Bill and Philippe, as always, getting it done.
Thank you, man.
Are amazing on the Super Chat. We thank.
Wow.
Recent research has shown
Super Chat.
makes no sense.
Yeah, you're getting focused on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super Chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You should all be very proud of yourself.
I have no response.
Super Chat.
That was perfect.
And we thank Myron Sanchez, Alex Diaz, Tommy Italian 305 for life, Finn 9113, Cookie Vice, DraftKings FanDuel GPP Central, Steve M, Julius 305. We thank all of you out there, man. Great job helping us out and supporting us like you all do. Appreciate it. Don't forget to share the link on the show. Tell a friend. Every day you can, pass on the link to a friend. Thank you all out there for downloading the show. That's you all are amazing. That's where the numbers are enormous. We actually had a really good weekend this weekend. And again, considering there are no sports, always
Saturday.
I know
specifically that.
Yeah, it was amazing. So it was a really, really good weekend. We thank all of you out there. As always, you guys be good, be safe. Much love.
Three field trips this week.
Yes. VSS West Pines on Wednesday. We will be at Toyota of Hollywood on Thursday, and we will be at Craig's Inn Acura on Friday.
Possibly news for a Monday field trip.
Yes, we may have a Monday field trip. Yes. See if I can confirm that in the next 24 hours here. All right, we will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel at 11 o'clock. You all be good. Much love out there.
Please be safe. Till tomorrow.